Online Racing, Simrigs.com Sprint Series from Silverstone. This is Asia Pacific Split Blue and Split Red tonight. Looking forward to this. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Joining me in the box is the one and only George Cook. Good evening, Cookie.
Good evening, Sean, and pleasure to be here for my first time commentating on an Octane Online Racing race. So yeah, real pleasure to be here, and especially for the legendary Silverstone. What a race.
I'm sure we'll get into that, because if you did detect, there is a slight accent there, so I'm sure he loves this place. But it's got a lot to live up to after last night's absolute epicness. Looking forward to seeing what Split Blue has in store for us, as we will head to the track now, as free practice is just winding up, so we'll get qualifying underway. What are you looking forward to tonight?
Oh, well, I think the big news from yesterday was Split Green, where we saw rain coming in the last sort of 40% of the race. So I'm really keen to keep an eye on the weather today. I think that's going to be the real key. And also, I think, it'll be interesting to see what cars are up on the grid at the top of the grid today. The McLarens have been strong here. The Lamborghinis in the right hands have been strong here. But a lot of Porsches in this split as well. So we had a lot of penalties in Split Blue yesterday. Split Yellow yesterday. And so I think we'll be watching out for penalties, watching out for the weather, and watching out for which cars come up top.
Track limits, of course, is always a talking point around Silverstone as well. Very easy to get it wrong on quite a few spots on this track, so got to manage them. I definitely felt the wrath of that last night. So, and again, and very close watch on that as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, so many bumps as well. I saw a number of people in my race. I was racing yesterday in Split Yellow, and yeah, I saw a number of people getting caught out, unfortunately, by the bumps. And you can already see, I mean, with the We're on board with Kale at the moment in the 52 car, and you can see how bumpy the track is. That rear end looking rather shaky.
Kale, an absolute speedster as well. Yeah, that section, the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, one of the greatest section corners in the world, but bumpy as hell as well, especially in the wet. It's real dicey.
Yeah, I'm quite happy I didn't get to experience that in the wet, actually. Having a nice dry race yesterday was quite pleasurable. It was a nice drive out in Britain when you get nice weather. But when it rains, crikey, you've got to channel every bit of skill into controlling the car. And of course, strategy timing makes a huge difference as well.
100% it makes a difference. As we have got a green track at the moment, so track temp at 15 degrees. We're racing a bit earlier than we normally do in the Sprint Series. So racing at around 9 o'clock is qualifying, 11 o'clock in game time is the race. So temperatures are a little bit cooler, which is always a good thing. So big welcome to our chat. Hope you are all well on this Thursday evening. What a massive evening as well. Plenty of sport going on. We've got Matilda's playing, we've got the Ashes cricket, we've got OOR sprint rounds back. How good is this? What a great Thursday night.
Can't complain at all. This is why you need 6 monitors. You know, you need to be able to watch all these things at the same time, because I can't keep up with it at the moment. There's so much good sport happening. And of course, with Octane Online Racing as well, you get the best of the sim racing motorsport side of things, and Simrigs Sprint Series is certainly one to watch because it is super entertaining, not only to watch, but also to participate in. It's been brilliant so far. This is my 2nd season I'm in, so it's just been absolutely gold every moment. Love it.
Well, there you go. One happy customer right there. Love that.
That's right.
Okay, just on a wind-up lap at the moment. Just getting some heat on the tyres, getting a bit of temperature, getting the pressures up to speed before he unleashes. It comes through Maggots and Beckett's out. Look at that Lambo. Just leans on its tyres so much, and then it cocks the leg here through there a little bit. Actually feels really good when you know this part of the track.
Well, especially with the sound of the engine as well. That thing's got a beautiful tone. The engine noise coming out of it, but yeah, it's a very tricky entry point there. Sometimes some people want to take a bit of a shallower line, break a little bit later into Chapel Curve, and slightly compromises their exit. So it really depends on whether you've got the car set up for a sort of low wing setup, or you've got a high wing setup for the corners. And certainly my approach to it yesterday was run the wing maximum and try and get in a bit wider into Chapel and try and maximize the speed on the straight. But everyone's got their own different style through those 3 corners, and we wrap it up. Down towards the back straight here, towards Abbey now, I believe.
Yep, best corner on the track by far. Not even a competition through the Abbey. Maximum commitment through there. Jeez, it's such a good corner.
Had a good line taken through there, because if you run onto that green, I mean, you're millimeters away from the grass as well, and it's terrifying when you get it slightly wrong. You feel the car just either starting to oversteer or just start to get away from you.
But that's all part of the fun. That makes sim racing exciting.
Yeah, too right. Yeah, if you're not fighting with your force feedback, you're doing something wrong.
As we just have a quick look at the radar there, I just had a quick look as Molly popped in there in the chat, and there is rain on the radar.
It certainly is. 30 minutes out. That'll be well past the end of qualifying. We've got 11 minutes left in this session, but the track is getting up to speed now. It's now fast track conditions. And there's a little bit of wind on the track as well, but not actually that much. It's only 1 kilometre now.
As Kale pops in a 58.6, so not a bad opening stanza there, but I'm sure we'll see that number drop quite significantly.
Yeah, good little grid here. I was racing with these chaps in season 13. Lots of very, very competent and excellent and very, very fast races as well. Of course, we had Joshua Vedager, pro champion in Split Blue last time, so I'll be keeping an eye on him. He's in the Porsche this time. Actually, got quite a few people in the Porsche this time. I think it's about 9 people I think in the Porsche. So it's become a bit of a favourite for Split Blue.
Well, they have taste, obviously.
I see. I laid that one right out for you there, Sean.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That's all good.
Here is Joshua Vedager at the moment. It's currently in 6th position, actually. So nice lap. 0.6 off the lead at the moment.
Best lap for him. I mean, he's usually got top line pace for top 3, but I'm sure he'll get there. Just needs to warm up the tyres a little bit more. It's really tricky actually to adjust the 14 degrees on track, and whoa, gets very oversteery there. That's a bit scary.
I'll tell you what, that was turned out ripping, because that looks fantastic.
Good liquid war, yeah, really striking. Coca-Cola Zero, so no sugar. Remember? Not my strategy to sim racing. I like to fuel up on the sugar while I'm racing.
Well, it's all about keeping the reaction time, especially when you go against some of these younger drivers who are much quicker and got much quicker reaction time. So you need every advantage you can get.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And that's what the Wava energy is for.
So, of course, format for tonight's race is a classic sprint format. So, 60-minute race, 1 mandatory pit stop, 4 tyres. So, a lot of the guys will be taking different fuel loads. We did see a couple of different strategies last night as well, which we'll cover off in the race. But it's qualifying. We've got 9 minutes to go. It is Kale leading the way from Chan, Conboy, McLaws. Popped up there in the 4th position. Nice job from the Pro-Am. Bub now with his big, bright Pro badge. Well done, sir. McCullough, Reynolds, Vediger, and Blair are your 10.
You've got to feel good when you go from Pro-Am to Pro. That's got to be a great feeling. And very good lap there from Kale, 58.1. It's very impressive. We may see some creep into the 57s today, which is pretty much the top bar. You get into the 57s, you're guaranteed to be in the top 3 pretty much. Blair sets a very good time there as well, 58.4, 0.5 I believe. On the 64 car here, some of the McLaren. Going very wide though, and not on a lap. No, they were actually up a little bit there. Another McLaren. The 117 car, that's Conboy, I believe.
It is young JB Conboy behind the wheel. And the Kovacs McLaren, currently 4th position. Loves this car. Absolutely dreams about it. Big McLaren fan. And 4th position is very quick. And he's on a quick one here as well because he's 0.3 up. Now down into this really tricky section into the loop. Really important to get these right through Village, Loop and Aintree. Rear traction, super important. 0.6 up. He's flying now. This is a really good lap.
Yeah, this could be potentially our first 57 on the grid. And I just noticed he's got Jeremy Clarkson on one of his little winglets on the side of his car. It's a really nice little touch on the livery. But yeah, 0.6 up. Through he goes. Can he improve in this corner? Yes, he is. He's making up time by the bucket.
And then his corner that I think they knocked off when they made his Luffield. He's lost a little bit of time through Luffield, but it feels like everyone does. Still 0.5, what's that, 5-6 up. So this will be very close to go to provisional pole. Might just miss out. He does go to the top with a 58.137. So Conboy now to the top.
Whoa, 1300s in it, though. That's nothing in it there, but that's a great lap for McLaren drive.
Excellent. At the moment, currently in 4th. Another one of these McLarens. Proven to be a super quick package around here. Goes to 3rd. So slight improvement.
And on board with another Porsche here. That's a very bright Porsche. I do like that. Up by 0.7 of a second. Now this is looking like a fast lap here from Glover. The 77 car, 0.72 up at the moment. Going down, I believe that's the Wellington Straight at the moment. So he'll be coming into Brooklands now. Can he get that line up? He's got a car in front of him. A pretty good line through there. Looking pretty stable with that Porsche. Usually it's trying to kill you around this time.
He's a bit of a Porsche expert, this one. He's got a nice little bit of a slipstream here as well, so this could help. This is going to be very close. This is more than close. 58.067. The 57's there. Who's going to be the first to break it?
It's so close now. That was very nearly. If he didn't lose that speed through Luffield, he was right there. But on board with Kale now, back with the Lamborghini, and McLaws as well, putting in a good time here. P11. And the Pro-Am is actually showing up very well. McLaws up in the 6th position there. 58.4. Great stuff.
Great. That's a really good lap from McLaws. And one of my absolute favourite McLarens is McCullough out in the Valvoline Porsche. Yes, that's striking all the right bells and whistles there. And this is a really good lap as well. This is 0.8 up on his best. So this is going to move him way up the timesheets.
Yeah, that'll be...
Up to 6. What a lap from McCullough. Stunning.
Great stuff. And he's taken the Pro-Am lead at the moment. So good on him. That's a fantastic lap time. Remembering my quality as well, we've hitting 58.9s was the absolute best that I could pull out, so 58.4, brilliant stuff. And yeah, I mean, obviously they've got the setup right with this Porsche. I thought it would be killing us around this point, sure.
The Porsche's not too bad. Look, it does have moments, but yeah, it's not too bad around Silverstone. Probably Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, it feels like that's where it's really going to bite, but everywhere else it feels really good.
That's good to know. Yeah, of course, we do have a bit of a split of cars today. We've got the Porsches, obviously. We've got the McLarens, obviously. The Lamborghini Evo 2s. We've got some Ferraris around the grid as well. We'll find some at some point. I believe there's an Aston Martin and some Mercedes on track too. So a little bit of variation. But, yeah, already up on his lap is McKellar. So he's going to go again, and we'll see if he's got another really quick lap in.
Ferrari now takes a lot of that inside curb. Down to the village in the loop. How deep does one go? He makes up a lot of time through there. Good bit of traction, something Porsche's really great at. And through this pain trip. That's a tricky corner. Good acceleration now.
It's just getting the power down through there. It's just so
yeah. Never feel like you truly ever get it right.
No, sometimes it makes me tempted to crank the TC up, but I know I've tried that before, and it absolutely did not help at all. Oh, he's really got a good entry into Luffield.
That was beautiful through Luffield there. A little taily on the exit. Lost a lot of time. He's just got a little bit the back end out too much, and it just kills your momentum. But you'll fire up again. Maybe got time for one quick fly if you can get out in time.
Yeah, that's right. We've got 3 minutes left on the clock for qualifying, so these are going to be the last couple of laps for all the drivers. Kale looking to improve. He's got time at the moment. Through Abbey now. He's lost a little bit of time through that corner, but he's going to come through into the village now. Under braking, look at all the time he's gaining. That's brilliant.
Very nice line through here. Clips that apex beautifully. Kale's on a real quick one. This could be a 57. Just got to keep it neat and tidy. Can he nail this final section of the track? This is where all the time can be made on a lap.
And ironically also lost, sadly.
Silverstone taketh, Silverstone giveth.
Yeah, too right. British track.
Nice through Luffield. Beautiful. Good exit. Oh, this is going to be so close. I think this is definitely on for a 57. He's going to go straight to the top of the timesheets here, Kale. And he does.
Oh, what a lap.
57.9. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Glover. That'll be, yeah, over to Glover indeed. Thank you very much. That 57. It's exactly what we want to see. He's up by 0.2 of a second now, and that will put him in the 57s as well. So into Brooklands. He's actually gaining time already, and he'll come through Luffield now. A little bit wide through there, but he's gained a bit of time. Will he keep it on exit? Yes, he is. He's looking good. He's 0.24 of a second up. Are we going to see our second 57 here? I think we are. Let's stay on board with Blair. Oh, it is. And that is actually good enough for P1. So 57.952 is 1/100th of a second, isn't it? Wow.
Look at the gaps. The gaps are fantastic. Oh, here's a lap. Ashton Reynolds has just been quietly going about his business here, and he's uncorked. He is going straight for pole. This is a fantastic lap. 0.4 up on his best. Net into Brooklands. Lovely line through Brooklands. Does he take the inside lines? He'll run it out a little bit wide through Luffield. Just a little bit wide. Then tightens it back up. This lap's improving all the time. Reynolds has gone for straight clutch mode. As he crossed the line, he's going straight to the top of the timesheets. It does with a 57.870. The gaps are ridiculously small. This is a fantastic qualifying session.
Absolutely spectacular.
I'm loving this.
Oh, this is brilliant. I mean, 0.1 in it in the top three. And they've all got another lap out there as well. So Conboy also improving, 0.24 of a second up. He's coming into Village right now. That'll put him very close to the 57s as well. A little bit of time, then loses it. Through we go into Aintree and the loop. Yeah, doing well. He's got an okay exit. Lost a little bit of time there. Down the Wellington straight, we will go with him. He's improving, but he's lost a bit of time on the straight there. Maybe running a bit of a higher wing is young Conboy, but the 117 McLaren looking pretty planted. He's gained a bit of time through Brooklands, and now takes the shorter inside line there for Luffield, and out through Woodcote he's going to go. He's up. This is looking good. This is looking like a very, very good lap. This could be pole for Conboy here. Let's see as he crosses the line. It's a 57.745. That is good enough for pole by 0.125 of a second. Brilliant stuff. That was beautiful through those last couple of corners.
Fantastic. He absolutely nailed Luffield there, 100%. Perfect. But Reynolds now, can he fire back another shot? He's slightly up here. This is going to be extremely close. Lost. Oh, yep, that's it right there. That could be enough. He's still coming in now. Down to the Brooklands. All or nothing here for Reynolds to get that pole position. Blair's finished. I believe Kale might be on a lap as well, but focus at the moment is Reynolds through Luffield, a little bit wide. Tucks the nose back in, gets on the power. McLaren looks like it's really neat and tidy, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It will be second on the grid for Reynolds. It is. Wow. Convoy. Oh, but here we go. Look at Kale.
It's just back and forth at the moment. This is brilliant. But Kale, yeah, he's 0.1 up already. Oh, this is going to get really interesting. He's 0.2 off the lead at the moment, P1. Can he put himself up into the top row of the grid? Let's see. At the moment, this is actually good enough for pole. If he can hold this through Luffield, he's improving. He's lost a bit of time on the exit. Let's see what he can do. He's going to be about 0.2, 3, 0.4. And across the line he goes. He's gone to second position. Oh, that is so close.
There is nothing in that. So it looks like it's going to be Convoy on pole from Kale right there at the end. Grant Begg's finishing up. He is improving on his lap time, so this will move up. Okay.
Still pretty good. 15th there for Begg. Not too bad. And I think we'll be getting ready. All the drivers will be getting their setups ready for the race. And of course, we have 60 minutes here with the Sprint Series, Simrigs Sprint Series here at Octane Online Racing. This is season 14, and this is round 1 at Silverstone. So really looking forward to this race, and I think we're going to go do a grid walk at some point soon as well. Yes, we are.
Excellent. If there are any celebrities on the grid, can you please move away now, because I don't really want to talk to you.
Oh, I'm sure they have their bodyguards out.
Of course, big thank you to simrigs.com for all your sim racing needs. Go see the guys at simrigs.com. And of course, if you are an OOR Patreon, you will receive a 5% in-store discount, which is pretty awesome as we are looking at this fantastic grid. It is Convoy from pole. There's Kale. Nice livery. Ooh, like that one. That's nice.
Really good colours there. I love this McLaren, the 42 car. Lots of McLarens at the top of the grid here, so it's favourable at the moment. The number 6 car, 720 car, I should say. And there's Jay Verdejo in the Coca-Cola Zero livery Porsche. I think that's the top Porsche on the grid, if I'm not mistaken. And wow, that's a very, very bright car. I like that though. And here's the skulls on the side of the 296 there, the 165 car. It's a Ferrari. I think that's a top Ferrari as well. It's Taylor, I believe.
Oh, there's the other Vertigo Valvoline Porsche. Big fan.
Very cool stuff. Another Ferrari on that side. Monster Energy. I do approve of that very much. Energy drinks.
There it is. There's the Benedict disaster. Oh, yes. Coca-Cola Porsche. Very much a nod.
And there's our Mercedes. And shout out to the 27 car as well. 36 car looking very good.
This is the weight, I believe, in that Mercedes, which is very nice.
And very good to choose that as well. We've got a very interesting Ferrari on the left-hand side there. I happen to know the designer of that man's livery. A little bit of a plain Ferrari as well.
Ooh, striking.
This is cool. Yeah, I like this very much. Yeah, fantastic liveries up and down the grid today. A couple of darker colors involved, but lots of bright colors as well, which is going to make our job plenty easier on the grid. I do like that. 72 Lambo there, looking beautiful. Bit of a patchwork on the side there. Green, white. That's a bit more of a standard McLaren livery on the left-hand side there. Ferrari, and then there's our BMW. Lovely to see that there. And then there's our in the 88 car, it's the Aston Martin. Very pink. Do like that though. And to round it out, the 115 car.
Nice message.
Yeah, nice message on the side indeed. That's going to be our grid. So we're about to go for our formation lap. No safety car this season. We'll be using the virtual safety car tools instead. So the drivers will be let know if there's a virtual safety car. They'll have to slow down. I believe 80 kilometers an hour on track and no overtaking. Of course, the scoots will be very close.
So what are we expecting this race? So it is an hour-long mandatory pit stop. Now, the weather will be interesting. Looking on the radar, it looks, well, sunshine. Okay. So it looks like Split Blue might have got the lucky draw here. So strategy, of course, half-half. The overcut is quite strong here at Silverstone, from what I've been hearing as well. So look for a lot of drivers to run long in the first end.
Yeah, it's a tough choice, really, isn't it? I mean, we all know that there's potential for rain here at Silverstone. British Isles are known very well for the rain that can occur on track at a moment's notice. So it'll be very interesting to see that weather radar change across this race. I'm still a little bit unsure as to whether the overcut really is the fastest. I mean, from what I've heard, yes, it is. I ended up doing a half-half strategy. It seemed to work for me. But, you know, I think others are going to be trying to run a little bit longer and then go for a really fast, low-fuel stint at the end. And that can really work out in terms of the strategy, especially if you get on the grid and you see yourselves with at least 30 minutes of dry weather.
Yeah. Well, like anything, it all comes down a little bit. Watching that rain, those clouds, covers come in, and you're like, oh, is it going to rain or not? Especially being in the grid.
I had a moment yesterday in my race as well. I saw the clouds coming out. I was going, oh dear, this is not going to go my way. I very quickly put together a wet setup, which was a little bit scary, but nonetheless, the formation lap is continuing, and the drivers will be forced to line up side by side once they get through to the Wellington Straight corners. Now they will be warming up their tyres and making sure their brakes are nice and hot, so they don't end up making any unfortunate unforced mistakes, as I believe I've just cursed someone. That's Kale. He's decided to go and run a bit wide at the loop.
Yep, and that, I believe, means he has... Well, no, he gets time to catch up, I believe, yes. So, lucky that was interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique line there through loop. Haven't seen that one before.
Okay, here we go. Round 1, Split Blue, Asia Pacific region, season 14 of Simrigs.com sprint racing action from Silverstone. A packed grid. Convoy leading the way from Kale, Reynolds, McClure, Blair and Chan. It's going to be spicy into cops, 100%. Really looking forward to this one. This should be an absolute belter.
Couldn't agree more. Yep, here we go.
All right, so Convoy now. We'll be on the brakes, just trying to... Mind games early, I like it. Like a bit of spice. And they, of course, have to come across in their grid boxes. And then they will unleash. Really tricky first corner as well. It's quite quick, so a lot of drivers just got to be really aware where their car positioning is at. Just once we get that control line, we are going to be underway.
Green light, go, go, go.
And Split Blue is away for season 14. So head down now, and looks like Convoy's got a very nice start. Kale there on the outside. Reynolds tucked in beautifully here. So really clean start from Split Blue so far. Heading down now towards Beckett. Everyone just tucks in beautifully. McClure's trying a little bit of move there on the outside. Looks like it's got through there cleanly. Lovely start from Convoy. He's got the foot down early. McClure's now, he's doing really well. Up there in the 5th position. Qualified really well as well. So to maintain his position, now it's time to get in the rhythm. Heading down towards the start.
Yeah, great start. No yellow flags out on the track. That is what we like to see. We do like to see good racing. And up the inside, I believe that is Kale. Going for a little move there on Reynolds, I believe it was. So a little bit of action going on. The Lambo looking strong early on. Got the tyres up to temperature. Convoy does lead us through the first time through club. And we're going to be... Oh, there goes a cone. Goodbye. See you later. That can go and be a fan souvenir for someone in the grandstand. Very impressive by McClure's. Good start from him. Then Chan in 6th place. 7th place of Vedager. Joshua Vedager, that is. And then we've got Glover in 8th position and Bowron in 9, who's in a silver category. I think that's actually pro-am.
So it is a McLaren party up front. We did expect that. We've got a Sol Lambo there as we go looking back at the pack now. This is Aaron Thomas, currently down 30th. Battles throughout the field. So we're looking back here now at Jake McCullough. This is the fight for 13th. 11th actually, 10th. So Bud now just ahead of him. The top 10. A really clean start here from Split Blue, so everyone now can really settle in and get into 60 minutes of hard and furious racing action. Is that too wide up there? It's like Glover that was going too wide through Luffield.
Yeah, it's scary through Luffield where, taking the outside line there can be a lot slower, let's just put it that way. But fastest lap goes to Convoy at the moment, and I get the feeling Split Blue might have been told about the penalties of Split Yellow and how they are not to do that. So everyone's taking it nice and cautious from the start, which is appropriate. That will be potentially track limits for Joshua Vedager there. That'll be his first warning so far in this race, but yeah, at the moment, the second time when we go through Maggot's, technically the third time, the second time in this race, 57 minutes ago, and all looking nice and clean. Good stuff, Split Blue.
Convoy's out to a 0.7 lead, so he has opened up a bit of a gap. It's not bad at the moment. Currently chasing Sean Reynolds. Really tied up the front here. So looking track team 22, so really nice track. We should see some really fast times here as well. This is perfect conditions for racing.
Yeah, that's right, and the track is now optimum as well. Completely sunny out there, nice and warm. It's the perfect British day, is exactly what you'd hope if you end up visiting Britain at any point. Yeah, leading our pro category, John, the J Convoy, JC, as he's known, and then McClaw's leading the Pro-Am category, and then there's a battle going on between 22nd and 23rd position at the top of the AM class at the moment. So the AM class not too far off. I always love to on the AM class. It's always nice to see drivers jump up from the rookies, but the battle continues here between Blair and Reynolds, and it's very close. These McLarens are having a great little fight. Down the Wellington Straight they go. There'll be any moves or opportunities into Brooklands only if someone makes a mistake. And yeah, the gap between the top 5 here, in fact the top 7 really staying pretty close, so all within more or less a second of each other.
This is really going to come down to who times their stops the best and just gets the most out of some clear air here.
Looks like we have had an incident. I do see, I think the 73 car, yellow down towards Club, I believe. I don't know if that's a disconnect or maybe some hardware issues with the car, but there has been a bit of an incident there.
Oh, Sean Glover. Oh, wow. Oh, dear.
And I believe we've got Werrau as well. He's fallen down to position 20, so potentially some contact there between the 585 car and the 77 car, potentially. We might be able to pull that up on a replay a little bit later, but that has moved up quite a few people. I think a couple of positions there being lost for those two, and the rest of the grid gets to move up a couple of positions.
Battle front already, just looking like Reynolds just starting to get a bit of a snip here. Hang on, that's Reynolds. We've got a replay coming up. Here we go. Here, that's 3 wide. That double spinners. BMW, just an unfortunate victim there. I always get nervous that part of the track when you go through. When there's 3 going into one, it never ends well.
Oh, the track just disappears there. Yeah, you can't do it. It's you maximum 2 cars. If you're really, really, really brave, try 3, but it usually doesn't end well for at least one of the participants. You can just fit 2 cars on the track, so the game of who breaks later is not a fun one to be playing. Really at any part of this track, certainly not down there at Club. That's for sure. We saw a bunch of incidents there yesterday as well. Very difficult. Wow, this is getting very close now between Reynolds and Kale. I'm not sure what strategies these guys are on. Kale might be running a little bit higher fuel, but he's still sitting 1.2 seconds off of Convoy. So Convoy not pulling out a massive lead at the moment out there in front, but Reynolds, Blair and Chan are having a real fight for position 3 and position 2 at the moment. And so that's the Lamborghini of Kale. He's the top Lamborghini out there, then surrounded quite literally by McLarens.
It's just maybe gapping a little bit back to this battle. This is stuff I like. Oh, that's not the gap.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. That was some Kevin Estra stuff there. Just using the whole track and some. Now, as he comes across, that's a big move. Hold on the slide. He does. Car control. Oh, normally Porsche that is. Oh, that's not a boot.
Oh, no.
That's a big boot.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. That is surprising to see it actually out of cops like that. But, crikey, good car control there from Morgan to keep control. I think that was Morgan up front there. Actually, I think that might have been Barre at position 24 we were looking at, the battle between the Porsche and the McLaren there, and they're side by side going into Stowe. Yeah, has to back out, of course. Very scary through there, and then running wide as well, so yeah, using track limits to his advantage there, and gets the inside. Oh, there's been an incident there, and that is, big incident. No. Oh, we've got cars everywhere. Everyone hold your brakes, let the cars go through. Crikey, so it looked like something happened there. That was Hayden Marsh in the 19 position, was in position 19, the 27 car, the Ferrari, and he suddenly got involved and caught up in that, and then of course another incident.
Quite a bit to unpack there.
Yeah, I think we might need a slow motion replay of that.
Wow, that was interesting. Got to hold my call on that, but that was a lot going on in very tight spaces, and it's still going on in between. Rings obviously got some sort of damage, or definitely because he's just falling back. Car looks horrible to drive.
Looks like a nightmare. That was Cafaro and Marsh with on board now with Ring, the 76 car. So yes, there will be a lot of cars with damage. There'll be a lot of cars considering whether they pit, and a 15-second penalty for car 17 for causing a collision. So that is Bowen. That might have been the cause of some of the chaos we just witnessed on track. And we go for a replay here. This is between, this is Bubnow and Glover. So, that's opportunistic.
Wow, yeah, that was never going to happen.
Yeah, why is it always Club, where everyone thinks they can get through at Club, but it's not? There's been a secondary incident after that in the second part of Club. That's a bit of a disaster there for Glover especially. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Club. People seem to think that it's, you're just coming down from one of the long straights, and a little bit wide there for Ferrari, and that'll be Ring getting past Marsh, I suspect. That's the Hamilton hanger straight there, into Stowe, and he's going to try the outside line. It's a good little move there. Hayden Marsh holding himself. But it's going to be an inside run down towards Club. So, good. Very good stuff there. So, considering last time out, literally last lap when they had an incident there, they decided, no, let's not go and do something crazy at Club. But the craziness seems to be finding them on track nonetheless.
We've got a couple of drives here with drive-throughs as well, so the penalties are coming in thick and fast now. Back up with this battle with leaders. Chance just chipped onto the back of Scotty Blair here as well, so sort of the gap at the front, so it's 1.4 seconds, slightly eking out, and Kale and Reynolds are still attached at the hip, and Blair and Shane, this is actually closing up a little bit. This could be a real proper four-way fight here. If you convoy the leader at the moment, this is what you want these four to really start battling with each other and see if you can build a bit of a margin before that first round of pit stops.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing quite like having clean air out in front of you, knowing that people behind you who were rather close to you are now having a battle. It's a great feeling because you just get to settle down, get your head down, and go racing, which is brilliant. So, on board now with Cecilwood. He's got Apreciado in front. I think it's the Valvoline livery for the Porsche. And Bell behind him. So, nice little battle happening here. I don't know why Apreciado's got no speed. Oh, down the straight. Mercedes looking planted at the moment, so I'm not sure if there might be damage for Apreciado at the moment.
Really good battle here. Good mixture of different cars. Mercedes with the Porsche. And we're going to cheeky little Porsche there of Bell in the background. It's this way, it just gets a little squirrely out of Club, which is easy to do. Done it many a times. Now towards the fearsome Abbey. See, the Merc just did not. Oh, the Porsche was doing Porsche things as well. Oh, wow, that's very close. Thistlethwaite holds onto it.
Oh.
Wow, that could have been a massive, massive accident with Thistlethwaite. Absolutely. That's some real driving right there. Great stuff.
Couldn't agree more, crikey. We saw the oversteer required for the Porsche going through the corner, and then Thistlewaite's decided, hey, I'm going to back off and try and get a run on you, and we're going to have a little look from Bell. No, not the easiest place to overtake. Most people take quite a shallow line through Brooklands, but trying the switcheroo is Thistlewaite, and can he make it happen? No, the door is closed by Apreciado, so some great defensive driving from Apreciado at the moment, and great onboard shots and sounds we have from the Porsche, and now on board with the 36 car of Thistlewaite. So great stuff through Cops. They go. Good line through there. Wow, the Mercedes really eats those curves. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's instant death of the level.
Yeah, same with the McLaren, I tell you. Porsche's looking a little unstable through Magnus and Beckett, but good line control from Apreciado, and that's very, very dodgy there from Thistlewaite. Not the line you want through Chapel at all. You really need to be tucking yourself in on the apex there, which hasn't happened, but this is all helping A. Vedager at the back there. He's going to catch up with this pack of 3, and the fight will continue.
That's turned a ripping pro-am battle here with Bell, the sole pro in there. There is up now, so he's dropped right now. And they're in 23rd. Not too sure what's going on there.
He might have been caught up in one of those
Yeah.
incidents at the club, yeah.
He'll work his way through. Working on the back of Carrara here. Another penalty coming through. Oh, jeez.
Yep.
Now 2 wide through club. Oh, that's got to take both drivers on the same page, and they are on both the same page. That's great racing. Now to Abbey. Someone will have to back it. Oh, he's going to try and go around the outside of Abbey. Yep, that was never going to work. Great attempt, though. 10 out of 10 for effort. Oh, yeah, what's the rejoin? No! No. Dear. Can't be doing that.
No, you've got to take the wide. Once you've gone off at Abbey, you are on the wide line. You're going round. It's as simple as that. You've lost those positions. That is not the place to rejoin, sadly. And we were just, I was just going to say, you expected Bubnow here to be braking at the same time, go side by side, but Bubnow smartly just backed out of it, said, no, I've got none of that. And the McLaren goes and runs very, very deep into the corner. It's very unfortunate to see that re-entry, though. Not ideal at all.
Yeah, that might be looked at very fondly, I believe.
Correct. I think was that got a yellow village, I think it was. That's back to the pits, it looks like, for someone. And looks like we've got Marsh, the 27 car, driving, causing a collision on lap 4, so a penalty there for Marsh, unfortunately. And ahead of Bub now, he's got a couple of Pro-Am drivers, and Lorenz and Morgan. Both of them have 15-second penalties already, so he doesn't have to do too much to get past them. He will be inevitably past them at the end of the race now, so up now on a real recovery drive.
And that's the thing as well, recovery. I've said this all the time. Recovery drives are some of the most satisfying drives you'll have. When your luck just doesn't fall your way at the early part of the race, and you just knuckle down. You don't really think about it. You just drive. Always a big fan. I love a good comeback drive. Who doesn't?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, no one wants to get in any sort of incidents early on in the race because, depending on how you react to it or your state of mind at the time. But as any good driver knows, sometimes you just got to forget about it. Sometimes you've got an engineer there telling you, hey, just calm down, get your head down. That's what the phrase is for, get your head down. Just forget about everything else. Just focus on the next apex, and then the next apex. And you just do that for a few hundred times, and eventually you'll be at the end of the race and with a result that you weren't expecting. It's literally how it goes. So up now.
Sorry, he's back with this battle between Kale and Reynolds. This is really getting spicy now. So we've just been waiting for Reynolds here. He's just been biding his time, and now he's like, no, I've got car speed here. I want to get past. Oh, through Mac. Love it through here. Really difficult to follow a car closely through here as well because the bumps just always catch you out. And then slightly gapped Chad and Blair, so they're on a charge. But the real big mover at this moment is Convoy. It's out to a 2.2 second lead. Have a look here, Reynolds now, he's right in the slipstream. Is he going to go through and pulls out very wide? He's going to try and go around the outside of Stowe. Whoa, that's a bold effort. Wowee.
Tries the switch back there, but Kale closes the door. That was really, there was a little bit of contact there, but Kale controlled it.
just that little bit of fight there. Look at that. 3 cars have just closed right up to the back straight away. So that's why if you're going to go for a move, you've really got to make it decisive because you can lose so much time. But I have no doubt here that Reynolds is just winding up the wick again. He's going to go for another crack.
Absolutely. 2.7 the gap now out to Convoy, so Convoy is benefiting from this battle massively. And yeah, it's bringing Chan, Blair and McLaws right into the thick of this. We've got 42 minutes to go. There is a yellow out on track. 55 card, a penalty's just been given to Huara for an unsafe rejoin on lap 7. So fastest lap at the moment, I believe, is with Chan, and my graphic might be messing with me at the moment. But yeah, the battle continues, and I think Reynolds might get it eventually, but Kale is putting on a defensive masterclass at the moment. Fastest equal laps, I'm being told, so that is why there's 2 purples on your screen at the moment.
You just don't see that often.
No, that is a pretty rare thing, considering we timed this down to the thousandths of a second.
Shanahan was right behind him here. You can see up there in the foreground, Reynolds is winding. He's going for another crack. 100% he's going for another crack.
Oh, that's not an ideal line there through Megan Beckett's and Chapel for the Lamborghini driver of Kale. So that's going to be Reynolds with a good bit of overspeed. Oh yes, he's going to try the move, but he's going to have to go around the outside at Stowe. That's very tricky to get right. It's a repeat of what we just saw the lap before. Can he make it happen? There won't be any switcheroo this time. They're side by side. No contact as far as I can see. No, he can't make it happen. So Kale just closing the door on it, but Blair right behind Reynolds now.
This is a ripping race. What a fantastic battle between some real class drivers here. And quite a bit going on in the background. We just saw a change of position now. I believe that was McKellar on Vedager. Or was, no, Vedager on McCaws. Yes. No?
No, that was, yeah, you were right.
Oh,
Vedager, yeah, McKellar, yeah. Yeah, just out of, yeah, great stuff there. We had McKellar unfortunately got a little bit squiggly on the exit there, coming out towards the one of the back straights, and just let Vedager through. He just couldn't do anything there.
Oh, Chan's dropped down. So Chan's had a moment. See him drop down. So he's back down to 7th now. And that's promoted McClaws, who's a pro-am, into 5th position. What a race this has been from our lead pro-am at the moment. Got 3 pro-ams in the top 10. Great to see.
Yeah, it's brilliant stuff from McLaws. He's going to be absolutely stoked. And of course, he is in the McLaren, and I'm a McLaren fan, so I've got to say, go mate. And of course, I'm a pro-am as well, so go mate, go mate. But yeah, it's great to see him up there. That's excellent stuff. He's just been keeping it consistent. He's not been trying to do anything. He knows he's got the speed. Of course, everyone's on race pace at the moment, so they're not going to be setting necessarily 57s at all through this race. I mean, I guess we'll see at some point. Might see a few very fast laps towards the end of this race, but at the moment he's keeping up the pace, which is absolutely brilliant to see. Oh, that was another interesting line from Kale. He seems to do that though. He seems to like that through Beckett's. Just cut the corner a bit, and then that opens up Chapel Curve a bit. So that's going to help him on the hanger straight, and going on to the defensive. Oh, here we go.
He's got an overlap. He's got an overlap. He's going to try and fire it up to the inside here. Let's get it done. He does get it done. Good move. Absolutely nailed that. I mean, what a fantastic move that from Reynolds. So that started at Stowe, and he just worked it beautifully. Got the overlap, and then fired it straight up the inside of Vale. Fantastic move.
Yeah, it seemed like he didn't have the confidence on the previous 2 tries to go around the outside, but this time he really just held his foot in there and had the grip and made it work. And yeah, as soon as you've got the outside line, Stowe, you're going to have club, and that's how you do an overtake at club. That is how you do it. Not opportunistic late dives, as we've seen a couple of people do this race so far. But nonetheless, he's now under a lot of pressure. Is Kale from Blair. Blair is looking fierce. He's right on the rear wing. They come down the Wellington straight towards Brooklands. Will there be a little bit of move there? No, he's trying to find from the outside. But Kale closes the door. That Lambo is maybe struggling a bit compared to the McLarens here. I'm not 100% sure on the reason could be why, but Kale was very, very fast, so maybe a late comeback for him later in this race. 38 minutes to go.
The Lambo's just doing its usual 20 minutes on a set of tyres, I'm just going to get angry and cranky.
I can understand why. Yeah, we've got the McLarens around there looking like they've got fresh tyres. That is wide. Yeah. Yeah, those tyres are gone, aren't they? They're really starting to suffer.
They can smell an opportunity here. Now through here, if you can get a really good exit, we've seen the Lambo just actually struggle onto the hanger straight. We've seen the McLaren, it's pretty quick in a straight line. It's a nice slippery shape, so get into the slipstream. Might be too far back for a move into Stowe though.
I think KO's going to get really sick of having to defend the inside Stowe because this is the 4th lap in a row that he's had to do it.
You just tell them the body language on both the cars here that KO is 100% struggling. Just the Lambo doesn't want to turn in. It's really nervous on the bumps. Right, fight through it, and then it comes good towards the end of the season. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, too right. Yeah, I was wondering from it. I was thinking he might have been running like a really high wing setup and just had 0 speed on the straights, but it wasn't that. It was just that there's no grip for him to really lay down the rubber on the exits of these corners. And yeah, we did see Blair behind him just get a little bit of oversteer on the exit. And looking back in the field a little bit, we've got a battle going on here between McKellar and I think that's Taylor. So nice little battle going on here. McKellar is 2nd in the Pro-Am class at the moment. Taylor is currently running in 7th position for the Pro class. And behind them, we've got Begg, Bendik, I can't pronounce names, Thistlewaite, and then Bell in 13th position. So there's some battles all the way down. But yeah, the Porsche here of McKellar doing well so far. He's up in the top 10, as you mentioned before. And down the field a little bit further, we've got Parkin. Ahead of him is Lewis. So a nice little 3-way battle evolving here as they run down the Wellington straight towards Brooklands. I do like that black and white livery. That's very nice.
Yeah, it's growing on me. I mean, I'm an Essendon supporter, so black and white doesn't really flow with my mantra, but I like that. That looks okay.
Might be some underlying bias here from your Kiwi commentator. That's myself. So we do like things to be nice and monochromatic in this country. But that said, it's always nice to see some good, colourful liveries out there. Behind this pack here is Chan. He's leading our AM class at the moment, so doing very well there to be up in the top 20s in P18 at the moment. And he's about 1.2 seconds off this fight. Whoa, that is a bit scary. Through Maggots they go. An opportunistic move there from Parker. He's gone wide. He's couldn't hold the car at all. So he'll rejoin in Chapel, and that will bring Chan in behind. Not a great exit there from Lewis either. So this is a very interesting little battle going on here.
I actually like that from Parker. Knew he wasn't going to make it. He just backed out of it. He's trying to fight that, but there's a good chance he's spinning as he runs really. That's an interesting line to Stowe. We'll call it that.
You're right about Baggots and Baggots though. If you're not going to make the corner and you decide to send it anyway, you're going to end up on a bump, and that car is going to be spinning 360s right through to the hanger straight. So good call there, really safe driving. It's the way to go. You know, it's part of racecraft to know when you're not going to make a corner. It's like when the Formula One guys go off. They've got to know. We've seen a few of the younger drivers on the grid not making particularly the best decisions. Also this year so far that in the Formula One. But back to here, Parkin's still looking. He's trying to find some way around the Ferrari in front of him. Driven against Lewis. He's a very fast dude. So this is a good little Pro-Am battle heating up between these two. And they definitely want to be staying away from the lead AM class driver. There's a certain pride, I think, in Pro-Am drivers. They don't want to be finishing behind any AM class drivers.
Well, we just got a little bit of insight into Cookie's mindset there, ladies and gentlemen. That was a little bit of a nugget. I like that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
back to this action. We've got a bit of 3 wide stuff. We know this always ends well. And we've got a Ferrari, we've got a McLaren, and we have a BMW. So this is Salvaggio, Cafano, and Thomas, I believe. Oh no, that could be a lap car actually. That is, yeah, looks like that lap car's in that position. All those cars are out of position. Reading that graphic, right?
Yeah, I think they are, in fact. Yeah, I wonder if these guys were caught up in a bit of earlier action on track. I think they might have been.
Well, that's Scatterland, actually, up there in the 23rd. So,
yes, it is.
Ooh, that's a bit wide. That'll become with an invoice, I reckon.
Yep, that'll be a track warning almost certainly. You can get 3 track warnings before you get a penalty, and I think does that translate into a drive-through, or is that gets converted into a 30-second penalty or something?
No, that's a drive-through.
It's a drive-through, yeah.
Yeah, it is a drive-through, and give you a pro tip for everyone who's watching, and don't get a track limit penalty with 2 laps to go. It's never a good time.
Yeah, there's an element of personal experience there by the sounds of your voice, unfortunately. But it's very easy to do here. I mean, we talked about this earlier on, especially through areas like Cops and Abbey, where you've got full commitment corners. And yeah, very, very difficult. Well, that was very, very close. And we've got Bennett 76 drive-through for causing collision lap 4. So the stewards still clicking their pens over the earlier contact. There was a lot for them to digest. That was very scary through club.
So car 76 has got a drive-through for looks like track limits. So first, that's early too. Ooh, 30 minutes to go. Nope. Apparently Tarkin said he's... Anyway, there's a drive-through there. I'm sure it'll be converted into another penalty. But who is this? And we've got another driver, Bowen, who's got 30 seconds worth of penalty, so that'll be a very long pit stop.
Wow. Yeah, I think the longest I've seen so far has been 40 seconds. So let's hope that Split Blue can keep that to being the worst in the lobby so far. So far, I think actually Split Blue's been very, very good. Yes, we've seen some opportunistic moves in a few corners, but not too many penalties spread out over the field so far. So overall, some great driving, and on board again with Kale. So Kale's managed to pull a little bit of a gap from behind to Blair. It's about 0.6 in it, but he's lost a lot of time out to Reynolds. Reynolds is absolutely flying away, and Reynolds is looking to close down that gap to Convoy. So McLaren drivers with their fresh tyres are looking very strong at the moment.
Here is McKellar and Taylor going at it. We're down there in 8th and 9th. So we're just about to tick over halfway to go. So it is a Convoy leading the way, 4.9 seconds to the good from Reynolds. Kale in 3rd, Scotty Blair at 4th, McLaws in 5th, Vettigar in 6th, Chan and McKellar in 7th and 8th, Taylor in 9th. This is the battery looking at on the screen. 10th is Beg, and just outside of the top 10 there, currently in 11th position. So we should start seeing some pit lane action as well. So we've got a couple of drivers already coming in as well. They're probably serving their drive-throughs and penalties, so get them out of the way. But it's going to be interesting to see where our sort of top 4 or 5, when they stop, when they decide to stop.
Yeah, I do get the feeling that they'll be running probably half-half strats, but it's very, very tricky to tell at this stage. They all look obviously pretty fast. This stop is so far. We've got Sithawait down 22nd.
Oh, we're getting rid. There's chaos in the pit lane. Chaos in the pit lane. Oh, I've got to know what's happened there. I'm sure we'll get a replay of that. That's going to be great to watch. 367. That was Parkin. So apparently something's happened to Parkin in the pit lane. Keep an eye on that. Joshua Morgan has served his stop and he's on track. Currently down at 27th position.
That is the worst place to have some sort of incident. That's just... I mean...
I think for me, it's because it's such a fast entry into the pit lane. So you try and bite off a lot more than you can chew a lot of the times. And then there's that nasty little wall that sort of, if you come in too hot, you always clip that thing. And there's no room as well. So if someone spins there, it's absolute fun.
Yeah, correct. Oh, in Split Yellow, we had someone do exactly that, hit that wall, but they also took out the pit lane entry side, which has been a hot topic of discussion in Split Yellow chat, I can tell you. Here we go with a little bit of a replay. Here's the pit entry.
What's happening? What's happening? It looks good so far. Everything's good. Oh dear! Oh dear! Oh no! Oh, that is coming in way too hot. And look at this, backwards down the pit lane.
He's reversing in. Oh dear! Yeah, that was. I don't know why you're entering the pit lane. You can enter it pretty quickly, but I don't think you can enter it that quickly, and that has ruined it for a couple of people in the pit.
He's going to do powers it.
He's gonna. Yeah, that's right. He's gonna. Oh, this is painful to watch. This is painful to watch.
I'm sure people are clipping this as we speak. Yeah.
He's got one eye on his track map, and he's got one eye on his rear, or his left-hand mirror to see what's going on. But Oh, we're about what,
and the damage is
8.10.
piling up.
Yeah, you just see seconds being added. Oh, scrapes the wall at the end just for good measure. Oh dear, we shouldn't laugh because that's horrible to deal with.
Wow.
Oh.
Pain, F, the whole works.
Correct. Yep, back into the action. We've got Morgan here in the number 420, the Porsche, and he's chasing down Salvaggio at the moment. It's in the McLaren. I don't think that's a custom livery for the McLaren. I think that might be the standard one. I'm not 100% sure. But I do like this blue and black Porsche behind. That's a very nice looking car. But Morgan, he'll be jumping up into P25 there. He's pitted as well, so a little bit out of position at the moment. And I think that was in the pits. Chan, yeah.
Chan's our first to blink. So that's 27 minutes to go. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye. His outlap's going to get absolutely spot on if we want to make that work. None of our top 6 have come in yet, though. So they're still biding their time. Convoy with 4 points, 2 seconds to the good. Reynolds has slightly closed that gap a little, not a lot though. But this is really raging here. Now, what do you do here? If you're Scott Blair, do you come in early or are you going to try and get this done now?
I think he does. I mean, I think we can probably assume that Cale's going to try and run long because he want to do 20 minutes at maximum pace to not have dead tyres at the end of this race. But yeah, Blair's he's gonna be pushing at the moment. Probably come in the next couple of laps. So it almost suggests that the fact that and that's a nice little move there through Brooklands, beautifully done, clean move, and it kind of suggests that he might be staying out a little bit longer. So we might see a longer stint here from Blair as well. But no, he's actually going to come in. So and that actually pulls the trigger for Cale as well. Okay,
that was a late decision.
Very late decision. We'll actually have to say we've had a couple of messages in chat about this as well. The cars involved in the pit lane entry. We did have one car that was maybe a little slow. I think might be an understatement, but a little slow on the entry, and one that was going maybe a little too fast. So you had two sides of it, but very, very tricky one when that situation occurs.
Okay, who can nail their pit stop here? This is crucial. Oh, I think Blair had to slow a little there. That did look slow, didn't pull right up and stop. Could that cost him that position? Battle. Isn't this exciting? A pit battle. Feels like supercars.
I know, I've never seen something so exciting at 0 kilometers an hour. It's astonishing stuff. This is the action you're all here for, folks, tonight. You're seeing two cars parked in the pit lane, seeing who's going to get out of the pit lane sooner. We do go to our dual split camera view at the moment. Exciting stuff. We've got two battles at 0 kilometers an hour. This is just double trouble.
Oh, Cale's lost out there big time.
Yes, he has. Wow. He's not been holding damage or something, has he?
Maybe. He might be. That could explain why the pace drop off as well. Not too sure. I'm sure we'll get a debrief after the race. But he's lost a bit of time there, definitely.
Do you remember earlier in the race, he was running about 1.2 seconds behind Convoy, and then that simply jumped to just over 2 seconds. So I wonder if he, maybe went off or maybe involved in a little bit of an overtake gone wrong from Reynolds. That would put Reynolds in the pit for a little longer as well. So Reynolds is also pitted, and Vettiger, Joshua Vettiger, he's got himself a 10-second penalty, but he's actually jumped up in the second position.
And he's got his pit stop out of the way as well. So that's a great drive from Vettiger. Notwithstanding, he's actually got a bit of a train falling behind him as well.
He certainly does.
Still waiting on 5 drivers to complete their mandatory pit stop. Here is Joshua Vettiger on screen at the moment. And he's got Scotty Blair, who's just got probably a fresh set of boots and ready to attack. Oh, that is so deep on the brakes there from Blair. How he pulls that up. I don't know how these super quick pro drivers do the things they do in these cars.
Oh, it's astonishing, especially the amount of speed that they hold in the village. I mean, it's just. I had a pro driver behind me yesterday in the drive, and I've got a tiptoe around village. These guys are just carrying probably 100 kilometers an hour through there. Suddenly there's a car right behind me. He was miles behind me beforehand, and now suddenly he's right there. And not just the usual right there, just suddenly gaining a lot of speed. So interesting though, so Vettiger's gone up ahead of both Blair and Reynolds. Reynolds was running in P2, and he's now running behind Blair. So Blair and Josh have either had an amazing run, with the sort of more of a half-half split. Or Reynolds has had some sort of incident during this race as well, because he's got back behind both of those drivers.
Yeah, they must have come in really early and they've just nailed their sort of 2 or 3 outlaps, and it's just bought them a lot of time here, which is, this is all playing into Convoy's hands though. So he will be, I think, very hard to beat from here. I don't want to put the mods on it, but I think he's built up enough of a gap. He can come in when he wants now. He can kind of dictate when he wants to come in. His pace is still pretty good. Doesn't look like he's got a lot of traffic as around him as well, so that's exactly what you want as he pops in now.
Yeah, this is about the time that you want to be coming into the pits. Any longer, and you may end up. Well, you wouldn't necessarily lose out, but when you've got cars with nice fresh tires behind you, then you know that they're out on track. You know they're going to be doing faster lap times. So we do see also our lead pro-am of McClaws. So a little bit of a shout here for Scanlon. He's made it up quite far up the grid too, but he'll have to come in for a pit. So will Bub Now, but we know Bub Now is further down the grid because of that incident earlier on. And now the fight continues to heat up here between Joshua Vedager, Blair and Reynolds. Blair and Reynolds right on each other. That's going to get very spicy, but yeah, Vedager with that penalty. That's really unlucky for him. He's going to drop back quite far. I don't think he won't drop out of the top 10, but he might be dropping the P8, P9 at the end of this race because of that. So I don't actually know what he picked up that penalty for. Must have been a collision at some point.
Yeah, I didn't catch that one. But as you can see here as well. So with 21 minutes to go, we've got 2 drivers, Bub Down, Scanlon. Scanlon's actually, that's been in the pits now as we speak. That's a really good drive because he was down towards the back. So he's picked up a lot of spots. So as we always say, we do love a good comeback drive, and that's been a fantastic drive. We'll see how far he drops down once he stops though. That'll give us an idea. I'll take a wild guess. Let's say around that 13th, 14th.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair guess. It's always tricky to tell at this stage, but yeah, I think that'd be around my guess as well. Claus comes out, Convoy is out as well, so provisionally Bub Now is in the lead of this race after what was a disastrous start, but he'll have to come into the pits, and he's got Convoy 13 seconds behind, so unfortunately for him, he won't be leading the race after the pits, but the grid is starting to sort itself out, and the order, if we don't count Bub Now, is in the lead, Convoy, with Vedager, the penalty, then Blair in 3rd place, Reynolds in 4th, McLaws now still in 5th place, so the Pro-Am driver there holding on to that 5th place, like his life depended on it, and doing a fantastic drive there in the 42.
Great drive. And Scanlon looks like he's got a Scott go through next to his name.
Ouch.
Oh, he's going to try to go around the outside. That's bold. Just didn't get it hard enough speed. He could try and fire it up the inside, but it's really, but you can do it. Oh, he catches the bump there as well. That's a nasty little bump. So it'll compromise his speed. Head down. Comes to straight now. Oh, comes straight. Well into straight. Always get the straight. Oh, yeah. Right on the back here of Vedager. This is great onboard footage. Just see the wheel work here of Blair. He's really working that McLaren. Just trying to force a slight error. Ready to just see if he can sense a chance to maybe get up the inside and reckon he might then get off after Convoy. But Convoy's got a huge lead at the moment. It's looking pretty unassailable. Got him taking time. This is a crack run. This is actually shaping up to be a fantastic battle here for the podium. The 2nd and 3rd step on the podium. We've got Blair, we've got Reynolds, we've got McCaws, Cale, thereabouts as well. So this is going to tighten up really close towards the end of this race, especially with Vedager as well. And I feel Blair's got a bit of a pace advantage at the moment, but Vedager's placing that forward perfectly. And look at this, he's got Reynolds right behind him as well. So imagine doing that speed, and you got someone like Reynolds right behind you in your mirrors.
Yeah, I think the word is terrifying. But you've got an overtake opportunity in front of you. And you've got terror behind you. It's a very tricky situation to be in. But Reynolds just, I think, looking at this point just to find the clean overtake, not looking to force the issue here at all, which is very, very sensible. The racecraft we expect from these guys in the pro class. And yeah, as you said, very exciting little race coming on at the top here. And Kale, unfortunately, has actually slipped behind McLaws. So the late pit stop there for Kale has not really worked out. He's actually now in range of Chan as well. So that top 7 battle, they're all still really close to each other, surprisingly, after 42 minutes racing. And that's a blue flag car, so we don't need to worry too much about what's happening there. But yeah, so Reynolds will get Blair because Blair had an awful time there through the loop. He clipped the curb, trying to go up the inside of Vedager, and Vedager was having none of that at all. And yeah, Reynolds will secure that position through Brooklyn. Nothing Blair can do about it. Once you've got a bad exit out of Aintree on the Wellington Straight, that is pretty much GG, and it's very easy to overtake when you're on overspeed.
That curb is nasty.
Yeah, I mean, it could probably flip a car if you hit it fast enough. In fact, almost certainly it could. I touched it a couple of times in my race, and yeah, feel the steering wheel decide to do a 90 degrees to the left, 90 degrees to the right, and you learn pretty quickly not to do that.
Not as nasty as the one through club.
No, that's good. That's a good point. Yeah. Don't want to be using any kind of force feedback if you do decide to go over the curb there, that's for sure. But yeah, I think he was looking at the inside, got a bit opportunistic, maybe a little bit late on the brakes, and he's trying to look for a move. Is Reynolds now through Stowe? They're going at the moment, but Porsche looking really good on the apex there. Got great turn in on that car, whereas the McLaren seem to be trying to take the shallower line through Stowe. And yeah, you can kind of see what I mean there. The Porsche really gets the turn in, whereas the McLarens are sort of having to dive in a little bit, use the brakes to get a bit more slip angle in the car. It seems to be the way to do it in the McLaren, but the Porsche just naturally oversteers, it seems, and that gives you great slip angle.
Yeah, it's its natural state.
Yeah. What did we say before? It wants to kill us? Yeah. But it also helps us out.
Reynolds again looking for the same move, but thinks better of it. Probably saw what happened before and thought, maybe not. I'm not just going to try it there. But Vedager's putting in a fantastic drive here. This under some immense pressure and hasn't put a foot wrong at this stage. McLaws is right in this as well. He's just about there. So this is going to turn into a 4-way fight. Of course, Vedager carrying that 10-second penalty, so unfortunately it won't be for the podium, but sometimes when you're just racing like this in AKW, it's just good fun. So I reckon that's what he's thinking. He wants to show that he can actually beat balls up front. Absolutely.
I mean, he's the season 13 Pro Class champion for Split Blue. So he's got a bit to prove this season, and especially against drivers like Convoy, who we know to be extremely fast, not just from this race, but from last season as well. And Reynolds and Blair and all these guys are obviously really quick out there, which is brilliant to see. So yeah, who cares about the penalty at this stage? Have a good fight, have a good battle, and Vedager will be, he likes the fact that he's backing these guys into a Pro-Am class driver.
McLaws is just quietly figuring himself into driver of the day calculations here. So he's been starting drive. I'll tell you what, it's going to be really tight towards the end, because I've just been watching really closely Vedager and just the way he approaches every corner, and he's not going to be an easy man to pass here.
No, correct. Yeah, very nice lines, and he's taking that nice shallow line. You sort of close the door before the corner even really starts, and what it signals to the driver behind is, hey, if you're going to overtake me, you're going to have to do it around the outside, regardless. No matter what, I've done this for the last 3, 4, 5 laps. And you're not getting past anytime soon by trying to jump up the inside. Actually pulling out a little bit of a gap there. Reynolds didn't have a great time through club. He's sort of being backed into Blair at the moment. So Blair could come back at Reynolds. These two McLarens have been, I think, out. No, actually, the Porsche of Vedager has been out a little bit longer, so his tyres will start to fall off sooner. But just great driving from Vedager to keep it in front at the moment. So maybe no sugar does help.
Maybe. Well, we're learning.
We're learning something new every day, yeah.
Looking at the top 10 there, a couple of shout-outs. McKellar, who's currently second in our pro category. Thistlewaite, who's in the top 10, so that's a great drive from Thistlewaite. There's McKellar in that absolutely amazing Valvoline Porsche. That is top livery for me. Job done, sir. Well done. There's Thistlewaite He's there in 10th position. Really solid drive. He's got Indeed behind him now, who is catching, but he's carrying a 10-second invoice. So this way, just bring the big Merc home.
Yeah, it was a really interesting way to take Luffield. Just sort of did the slip angle in, just slide it around, and then wait till the traction gets back in and just hit the throttle. It's quite a good strategy in the Mercedes, actually.
It's a fun way to drive.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Half drifting, half racing.
Well, that's what you do. That's what I do. But I'm in this kind of position. Sort of, you're in a good position. You're pretty happy. No one's around. You got no one to race. So you just go out there and have a bit of fun. Unlike this battle right here, this is fun, but at a whole different level. They are just gapping McLaws. It looks like the pace might be just a little hot there from McLaws. Still a fantastic drive, but looks like the last couple of laps, these three have just stepped it up a notch.
Yeah, they've turned the gas up to 101 at the moment, and I think Vettiger is starting to really feel that pressure because he's got Reynolds right behind him, and Reynolds might be looking for a move. No, thinks better of it. So you look at that shallow line once again from Vettiger. It's going to open him up for the outside move on the loop, but that doesn't really work. What will work is potentially a switchback. Good drive out of the loop there for Reynolds, so he's going to have the run down the Wellington straight here. This is trouble for Vettiger now. They are really, really close, bumper to bumper. And there's plenty of space to look up the inside into Brooklands. Will there be a move? No, he's just a little bit too far back. Thinks better of it, but Vettiger is running a bit wide through Brooklands. Oh, that's really tricky stuff, but well done for Vettiger to holding on, but it's not over yet. Oh, no! Oh, no, he's picked up, Blair's picked him up as well. And that's Vettiger gone. He's gone for a spin.
Wow.
Not his fault at all. Oh, dear. Well, I think that signals the fun over for Vettiger with the 10-second penalty and now being spun around. He's down into P7, sadly. And that is a fairy tale story come to a disastrous end there, unfortunately. And Blair will be holding a little bit of damage on that front splitter. Reynolds will not be happy either because he's just spun around someone he's having a good fight with. That's not the way we wanted to see that battle end at all, Sean.
Not at all. And the other thing to keep in mind, the McLaren does not like damage.
Yes, that is. I can confirm this fact, especially on the front splitter, because it really does rely on that aero. And I can't really see it just yet. I think both of them have got some damage on that front splitter. So it might still be even Stevens with the amount of damage. Oh, big send there into Club. Great move. Wow, he actually makes it work down Club. Great stuff from Reynolds.
That was opportunistic, saw it, opportunity and just went for it. I think Blair's carrying probably more damage there than Reynolds as well, so that puts McLaws in with a podium shot here. This is a big opportunity for McLaws.
Yeah, McLaren with damage versus McLaren without damage. Doesn't matter if you're pro or pro-am. You're going to be faster without damage, simple as that. And, the other thing that's helping out McLaws is he's got Chan behind him in another McLaren. Really putting the pressure on him, so McLaws is getting sort of egged on by the car behind, and now with two cars in front that are going to be slower through the corners. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And Reynolds gets slapped with a 15-second penalty for causing a collision just then on lap 23, so there we go. Reynolds, no matter what he does, that is not going to be a top 3 position for him, so Blair is going to get potentially P2 here if he can keep ahead of McLaws. So you just said potential podium for McLaws. It's now a podium for McLaws if he can stay within range. Here we go, a little
replay. Let's break this down. So this is into Luffield. Looks like just tripped on the throttle a little. Oh, it's the smallest of touches, but it's with the Porsche, any touch in the rear, and around she goes. Now let's look at Blair's point of view here. So he sees nobody. Oh, he tries to get out of it. It's a slight scrape along the side. Not as bad as we first thought, but still.
Yeah, damage is damage at the end of the day, and yeah, yes, that isn't. I mean, there will definitely be more damage from that contact for Blair than it would be for Reynolds. Reynolds just sort of had a little tap of Porsche's rear bumper there, as opposed to the contact that really happened with Reynolds with Blair. So yeah, that's just really unfortunate. Unfortunately for Reynolds, he obviously had the traction out of the corner, and the Porsche. It looked like Vettiger ran wide, but he certainly wasn't confident on the exit of that, and yeah, the speed difference was just not taken into account by Reynolds, sadly.
we tick 8 minutes to go. It is Convoy leading the way from Reynolds. That is a 10 second, so 11-second gap. Reynolds carrying that 15-second invoice. Blair in third. That's a net second. McLaws is a net third at the moment, but he does have Chan all over him here, who does have the fastest lap of the race as well. Kale in 6th, Vettiger in 7th, McCullough in 8th, Taylor in 9th, and Thistlerate is in 10th position. Do have a few penalties to come as well, because Vettiger is carrying a penalty, Taylor's carrying a penalty as well. So that order will jumble up as well, and Ben Deek as well. So this top 10 is not sorted. Definitely not.
Not by a long shot. No, and Thistlewaite actually could really benefit from this because he's within range of Taylor, so that'll be a P9 for him. He's still out of range of Vettiger, but that gap could come down for all we know. So yeah, a little bit of a switch up to happen, that's for sure. And we could see Begg potentially pick up a P11 or P10 as well. Bendich at the 73 car. Also getting a 10-second penalty. Blue flag traffic getting out of the way. Good stuff there. Good place to do it. You don't want to be blue flag and getting overtaken through Meggets and Chapel Curve. Yeah, I think, wow, Silverstone producing excellent racing as always. And more to come in Split Red, which is coming up right after this race. We do have 7 minutes remaining in the race today for Split Blue, which has been good overall, I'd say. I think some good contenders for driver of the day, and the battle at the top has been absolutely brilliant.
Been a fantastic race, really enjoyed it. And of course, stick around everyone, because we do have Split Blood coming up next. And if the weather gods are smiling on us, Split Blood with a bit of rain, oh, that's quality content. 100%.
And of course, tomorrow as well, we will be going live for the GT3 Cup for Motorsport Australia GT3 Cup with Sim Magic, and that'll be at Silverstone as well for the first round of the knockouts. So definitely join us tomorrow for that as well. The GT3 Cup is going to be very exciting. I'll be racing for that as well. So, but it's practice. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. I'll hopefully get through to at least round 2. Fingers crossed.
Exactly. Aim small and whatever you get to bonus.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah, set the expectations low, and then you surprise yourself when you get P20. But speaking of P20 and below, got Vettiger down in P20 at the moment. Scanlon above him in P19. Wood, our lead AM class driver at the moment, of course. Shout out for Chan in 21st at the moment, but well off the back of Vettiger at the moment. And looking a bit further down the field, P2 for AM class is Penfold in P28, and then Ring in P30. So yeah, good little split. Actually, there's a couple of in there marked as silver class, so they might be AM class drivers. I'm not 100% sure. I certainly know that A. Thomas is in AM class, so he's running the only BMW on the field. And down on the bottom of the field, we've got Sebi in the Porsche, Hayden Marsh in the Ferrari, the 7 car, and Sue3. I'm going to pronounce names wrong, but also in the Ferrari P32. Oh, that was close.
Wow.
Bring there. Heart and mouth moment.
Yep, that's Code Brown.
Yeah, 100%. Pit crew, new change of underpants as soon as possible.
Closing up this race as Waru is in the pit lane. Ooh, is that his second stop? Could be.
I think it is. Since the Lambo killed its tyres twice in this race, it's entirely possible, based on what we know about the Lambo.
Could be possible. Could be fuel as well.
Good point.
Some drivers do like to run it right to the last milliliter, where I tend to go with the let's fill it up, and if I've got 10 litres at the end of the race, job done.
Yeah, correct. I've been in a situation too where I've had too little fuel and had to pit on the last lap of the race just to make it round to the finish line. I like to make it round to the finish line regardless, so I had to have the fuel, but there you lose 15, 20 seconds in the pit lane. Very, very embarrassing.
Battle at the moment? No, it's not. So it looks like we're looking at Simon Scannell at the moment, currently in 18th position. He will. Oh, geez, that's a bit. This is that wood in front. It is wood in front of him.
It is.
I thought it was. Yes. So I was just trying to get my eyes right with the timing stream, but that was very close there into Abbey. That was out of club and into Abbey. Wow, that could have been a big moment. Wood runs really the interesting deep line. Scanlon's going to try and go around the outside, then try the switchback. Nowhere to go there. That door just got slammed shut. And Vediger's just lurking in the background, ready to pick up the scraps.
Yeah, the Porsche driver will be quite happy to see two Ferraris fighting. And oh, is that going to be an inside move? Oh, he gets the nose in. Yes, that does just work through Brooklyn. Just. Yes, Coca-Cola with sugar. Oh dear, the slide. Yeah, that's not how you do Luffield, sadly. So that'll be. I think that'll be Wood. Would it be? Was that?
That is Wood.
Cham. Yeah, that was Wood. So the timing screen's not updating for me, unfortunately. But that's all good. That was Wood. So he's obviously, unfortunately, dropped back, and Vediger will get ahead of him as well. So Coca-Cola with sugar, making up some positions late in this race. 2.5 minutes to go. I think it might be time to jump back on to the top of our race and have a little look at the battle going on for second position and third.
So it's closing up again. Maybe one last throw of the dice. Reynolds got second. Looks like he's pretty much got that in the bag, and Blair's just opened up enough of a gap there, so that'll be a net second position. And then Claus looking like he's just dropped Chan as well, so this could be a podium for McLaws, which would be a huge result, like massive result. Podium, Pro-Am, job done. Thanks for coming. Keep that rate up, and you'll that will turn into a white box very soon.
I was going to say it's about 1/10 of a white box there if you get that kind of result, and he's been doing fantastically well to run up here with the top 5 or 6 or so. Certainly, it's the area that we expect the majority of the pro drivers to be running in. But yeah, great drive from McLaws. He's kept it clean. He hasn't gone for any crazy dives or moves. He's just tucked it in and cut the car in behind other cars, the faster guys in front of him, and taken the slipstream and said, "Yep, I'll quite happily have that. Drag me along with you guys, and I'll take that podium."
But it really has been all about one man. Jamie Conboy, aka JC, has put in an absolute stunning drive. Put it on pole, never was really headed. There was a little bit of a moment there, maybe on lap 1, but it's just kept the head down and has just pumped out lap after lap after lap, and is what it turned into be a really beautiful drive. Nailed his pit stop, hasn't put a foot wrong, and this is going to be a huge result. This will fire him right up for a championship charge.
Yeah, brilliant drive. There's nothing really else to say. I mean, he's got a great livery as well. That's obviously giving him a few seconds on track. Oh, just teasing, of course. But no, Conboy has really said today, AP Split Blue, I'm here for you. And he's put on that kind of performance in his McLaren today. He's gapped the field by, I think it was nearly 10 seconds now. So, yeah, just a really, really clean job. He got away early in the beginning of the race. Pulled at that nice little 1.2 second gap, and it grew. Halfway through the race, it was about 3 or 4 seconds, and then, yeah, stayed out late, I think he did, for the pit stop as well. So, yeah, didn't put a foot wrong at all, and for the last time, he will, I believe, come through Luffield, and this will be it, across the line.
Well, it's been a beautiful race for a beautiful man. JC is going to take top step on the podium with a masterclass drive. Brilliant drive from JC, fantastic drive, and he's excited. Look at him. He's up and about.
Stoked. Yeah, he's really happy with that. Huge congratulations, and of course, Reynolds will come across the line, but Blair will take P2, and McLaws for Pro-Am will take P3 in this race, so congratulations.
Chan there in 5th. Kale will finish in 6th, and then we'll have to wait for all the penalties to play out to work out who will finish where. But it's been a great drive, been a great race as well from all our drivers. Split Blue have put on an absolute show. Thistleweight in the 10. That is a fantastic drive. Well done, good sir.
Absolutely. And then the Mercedes as well. So not necessarily the most competitive car. He'll take through home P3 in class as well. P2 in class for Pro-Am will be McKellar, who's done and got himself P8. I got Bendick in P11, Begg in P12. Apreciado, good drive from him. Top 13. We can count that. For Pro-Am class, we've got Bell and Bub now in 14th and 15th position, respectively. Then Lewis and Scanlon, who we thought was actually running up the grid a little bit further, but wasn't able to get as far up as we wanted to. Then Wood, and then our AM class leader. So first in class there for Chan. I think I don't recognise his name. I might be wrong, but it might be his first outing in M class.
Could be his first outing, and he's look by the looks of that, he's first home a very broken Lamborghini as well. So a great drive from Chan. Thomas there finished well. Wararu, Savaggio, Cafaro, Lorenz, Bowen, Penfold, Park and Thomas, Saruki, Morgan, and Sebi. But wow, what a fantastic way to start off Thursday night. Simrigs.com OOR sprint racing action as Lawrence went out across the line. Wow, what a race. That had it all.
Yeah, that did have it all, except for rain. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Quite happy that we didn't see the rain at all, to be completely fair. But it would have really shaken things up. So maybe that's the only sad note for tonight's race might be that we didn't see a bit of a mix-up from the rain. But yeah, brilliant stuff overall. Great job from Convoy. Great job from Blair and McLaws to get the rest of the podium positions there. And I think we'll go quickly through our categories. So For Pro-Am, the lead will be McLaws, so he's got himself P3 overall and P1 in class. Great job from him today, and definitely a contender for driver of the day. Then McKellar in P2, and then P3 is Thistlewaite. Over in the AM class, we do have Chan and then Penfold, and I believe the silver class is the remainder of the AM class here, so that'll be Lawrence taking out P3 in class. So good job from all of our races, but today it's all about JC. He's done a mega job there out on track at Silverstone for round 1. That's how you want to start a 10-race series, is it not?
Is it? 100% agree with that. Fantastic race. That really sets up a juicy season, of course. Split Blue is off to Hungary the next round, which is a totally different circuit, so it's going to throw up a whole different bunch of challenges. But other than that, I believe it's been great calling the action with you, Cookie. Been a good night. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
Mate. Oh, absolutely did. It's been great to be here and a pleasure as always. So, yeah, I think it's about that time that we hand over to our fellows for Split Blood.
I think we will, and it is the one and only Damiano Thurcolini and Mike Crick. Take it, and Grant Begg. Full box. Love it. Enjoy.
Thanks, guys. It was a pretty good race, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, very exciting finish. A little bit of taps going on.
Yeah. Very tough.
Yeah, how was your
in
race,
the end
Grant?
point, no one can hear us.
I think we got you. I guess so.
No one can hear us.
Oh, no one can hear us in the... Yeah.
No, they can hear us. They can hear us. Confirm.
Confirm. All right, well, I'll
Okay.
catch you chaps later.
Green light, give it all you got.
So, what's any weather coming in? A bit cloudy. Can't see much weather. Cars are streaming out for the beginning of qualifying for a 9 a.m. start. Ooh, too early for me, man.
Yeah, the weather does look suitably British, but not totally British, so we might not see any rain, but Silverstone, so there is a possibility.
There's always a chance 20 minutes from the end of the race. Anyhow, this is qualifying's on day 2, and the race will be on day 3. So plenty of time to bring the weather in.
I see we have both Sonic High in Split Blood this time around, which is going to be great. So remember that it's John in 555 and Peach in number 44.
Oh, if I had known that, I would have gone to a different round to commentate on. I'm so bad with that. So it's a John in 55, Peach in 44. Got it. If I stapled it to my head, I won't forget.
How was your race, Grant? How did your split go? Was there anything crazy going on there?
A few incidents at the start, but yeah, it was pretty tricky, especially near the end. A lot of pit speeding penalties as well. Half the grid going around. I was 2/10 off of the top 10 in the end, just behind Chris Taylor.
Yeah, looked like a good result for you. Those pit speeding penalties, they can come in pretty quick and fast at Silverstone. It's a tricky pit entry, and it's quite easy to speed into, especially, when our split ran yesterday, it was wet, and there was a lot of people just going in there because they didn't estimate the stopping distance correctly and things like that.
Yeah, should have practiced a bit more. I rushed it and had to do it in the practice session. Completely forgot about it.
Yeah, always
That's one
good
thing I
to
always
do the
love
practice.
doing.
Yeah,
is-
sure do.
Yeah, I love attacking that pit line. It's so much fun. You don't get anything out of it, or not too much anyhow, but the consequences can be pretty bad. Like that wall on the left going in. Ooh, I've seen a couple of cars hit that one.
Yeah, they've modelled a dent into it, which is quite funny. If you look right at it, it's like a big, probably a hole maybe.
Oh no. At least they painted over it. Handy.
So it looks like Peach is leading the qualifying session at the moment. Nobody's done a valid lap yet, but he seems to be leading the field around, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of lap time he sets for his banker, and then what everyone's going to follow that up with. What kind of times are we expecting here? 156s? We're going to see a 156 tonight, surely.
Track conditions, or at least in my split, they were on fast, so depends on the track conditions, but if it's optimum, they'll definitely be 56s.
Some very good times there for Kathy. If it manages to happen. And first lap time coming through, and 58.4. Good start, good banker.
Yeah, not a bad banker, especially the track condition I see is only fast at the moment. So 58's not going to be too bad. Peach will definitely want to improve on that, and so will John, who's not too far off, almost exactly the same time there, and Johnson doing about a second slower at the moment. So interesting to see just how close everybody is here. A lot of familiar faces here in Split Blood, but we have had some new faces there.
Yeah, I must admit there's quite a lot of new faces for me looking at this split. So I didn't see them too much earlier from last season, so they're going to be pretty exciting for this season. So the easy way we can tell now is as we're looking at John. John is in the black and white car. Have I got it wrong already? And Peach is in the yellow car. Have I got it right?
You do have it correct, Damiano.
Oh, yes. Okay, I can figure it now. I'll never mention him again. I got it right once, 100%. Some close times at the front, though. You got Maddox with 0.2 back. Sanjoto at 0.7 behind. Hill at 0.797. Suhali 0.8. Drea 0.8. Kumar is just under a second. And 1.2 back is Johnson and Bushel at 1.2.
I've just seen the rain start to pop up on the radar there. So it's half an hour, so it's not going to impact the qualifying session. But if last night's split is any indication, that did carry over into the race, and there was a bit of moisture in that race. So it'll be interesting to see how it all ends up here as John looks to be aborting the rest of his lap, probably going out for another run. Maddox is up about 2/10, so it's going to be a reasonably good time. Not going to get him up into P3 just yet though, but I dare say Maddox has got more time in the bag.
We have J Mags in the 87 Ferrari getting very close to P1 with 1.025 behind.
Crazy how it's Mags' first sprint season. He joined rookies last season and destroyed the competition.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's got a great choice of number there, I'm noticing too, 87, it's my number. Good choice there, Mags.
Yeah, Yes, if I remember from the rain we had after qualifying in Split Green last night, the track started fast, I think it was, in the... Ooh, as... one of the Sonicus goes off.
I think he was just stylishly avoiding the rest
Got
of that
already.
lap. That was Peach.
Yes. Good job. 44p, got it.
Yeah. You'll get there, you'll get there.
Any day now, any day.
Maddox didn't abort, so he's going for a bit of a longer run, maybe just waiting to get the tyres up to temp. It looks like, yeah, he looks like he got stuck there behind someone, even though he was a few tenths up, so he's not going to be very happy with that. I'm sure the car ahead was on a valid lap, though, hopefully. As we see Tian Bruma, a new name for me, coming up 6 tenths up at the moment, so doing well, looking to improve. Down in P11, trying to crack into that top 10. If this lap holds, they're going to be right up there. So good little debut from them, as far as I know.
Perfect number.
Well, that was a lot of aborted laps just now. 5 cars, I think, was there just teleporting back. Looks a bit busy there at in Vale. We've got a few blue cars on out laps, and I think we've got 1 or 2 guys trying to get some fast laps in. So it's a very busy time in a big circuit.
Yeah, not the worst track for getting a decent qualifying session in. There is a lot of space out there, even when there is a large amount of cars as we have tonight. So hopefully everybody can find that little bit of space. It's all part of the game, unfortunately, managing everything and making sure that you can get the very best lap time out of it. As we see there, he's improved his time there, 58.7, so he's up in the top 10 now. So good lap, and we'll see if he's got more pace in the bag.
Yes, and the OR qualifying rules are if you are a blue car and you're the fastest car behind, you are obliged to let them through. And also, if you're coming up behind another car where the dot is grey, they are also on the fast lap, you are not permitted to overtake.
Backchild here up in P7. Not improving at the moment, but not losing any time. Almost dead on their first lap. So hopefully they've got some more time here in Sector 3. It is the shortest sector. So if there is any improvement to find, it's going to have to really push it, I think.
Is that an ASICS livery I see on him?
I think you are correct.
Well spotted.
A shoe on a car. Never thought I'd see the day. Someone's disqualified.
Ooh. Yeah, it's car 333, unfortunately. It's had a bad day and it's been disqualified. Might have been too fast into the pits. It could have been a game disqualification. I'm not sure if the stewards have done that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything pop up yet. It'd be very interesting. Disqualification's pretty harsh if the stewards do dole it out in qualifying. So hopefully that is just an unfortunate error from the driver in the pit speed limit. Back with Mags now. In P2 at the moment. Very close to Page's time there. And he's up 2 tenths, which is enough. More than enough to get into that top position. So driving well here.
Just getting a pole on debut would be a dream.
Would be, but I imagine Peach is not going to just let that fly. He's up 3 tenths. He's lost a little bit going onto the main straight there, but he's still up almost 2 tenths. Just lost a little bit on the exit there, but I've once again been confused by watching way too much Formula 1. I'm talking about the Formula 1 main straight. So we've still got half the track to go, but he is up.
Yeah, I was watching it as well, Mike, and going, yeah, there's the line, there's the line. How comes it hasn't ticked over? And I look at the mini-map, and yeah, there he is. New pits.
Don't know why Silverstone must have 2 straights. It's very frustrating. But he's still maintaining that 10th advantage, so this is looking like a pole time at the moment.
Got a great run there out of left field.
Coming under the actual straight.
Yes. GT3 straight, and he's got a Come on, St. Mike.
What, 58
Practically
flat?
a 58 flat. Yeah, 0-0, a 007. If it's in the Aston, no. Oh, what a shame. But a good pole run. Provisional pole. Good job. With about 1 to 2 laps left in the session. We'll see what else the other drivers can do. Very busy now in Abbey Farm corners leading into the village and loop. As we are looking at JP. No, Peach.
Yeah.
44
JP.
Peach? Yeah, 44
Both
Peach.
are accurate.
He's also up by point 2. Oh, it's going to be a very close one. Oh, he's grabbed some time there going through, was it Village and Loop. Okay. Dropped a little bit on the exit, which can happen with a good entry. The yellow flagger giving way, making him room down the straight. Stretching out the legs, and time is increasing, as in getting faster.
Yeah, I'd say the track condition has maybe just improved a little bit for him to be gaining quite that much time. He's almost 6/10 up at the moment, so he's definitely going to jump right up into P1, but I imagine we'll see a couple of other cars get close to him as well if the track condition has improved, which I assume it has in order to gain that amount of time that easily. He's up to a 57.6. I reckon he can still go faster, but that is a really good time at the moment. He's already 4/10 up on Mags there, who also set a very good lap.
He's got the unfortunate circumstance of having a car on a good lap in front of him.
You got a pick here, Grant?
Our track is still fast. I don't know if that'll improve. Should do. With how many cars? Like 30 cars going around it.
Yeah, it's a bit funny. It depends where it starts. My understanding is there's like varying levels of fast, and it depends where it starts in that level. It could be close to optimum or closer to green.
Yeah, I dare say we're closer to the optimum scale here, just given the extra time that people are gathering up here.
It's going to be looking like who's going to get the last lap in, who's going to get the better chance of getting the pole.
Yeah, Peach did abort the rest of his lap, so he's not going to improve on that time, so it is time to beat a 57.6 at the moment. John here 4/10 up on his previous time. Track is still fast, but I'd say it's definitely on the fastest end of fast, and much more towards optimum. John looking like the main challenger at the moment. He still needs to gain a bit more time to get to P1, but this is going to put him right up there and on that front row maybe. Depending on what other people do around him as well. He's just jumped him. He's only 5/10 off. There he goes up to P2 right on the front row. So 0.2 still off Peach. So Peach's lap very good.
And we got Mags just coming down to the Wellington straight. So he's only got 2 or 3 corners left to finish off his time. So that'll be one to keep an eye out for.
Not up at the moment, but he's not too far down. He want to be making a few more improvements on this lap. Doesn't look like he's going to have it. So it may just be P3 for Mags at the moment, but not a bad position to be in. A pretty good one for debut.
Still a very good time there.
A couple more cars to come through. Kumar here. Doesn't look to be challenging. That top 10 is up a couple tenths. Might jump a position to 14th. Ooh, just going a little bit too wide there on the exit, so not going to improve on this lap. We've got one more car. Marco doesn't look like he's had the best qualifying so far, but it looks like
Going to get a time in?
does get a time in, which
I
is
think
nice.
it
And
did.
goes up to
I don't-
P13, so a good lap.
Oh, well done. That was a good pressure lap there, getting that through for Marco. Good job. So, looking like a sunny start to the race. So what we have tonight is we have a 1 hour race, one mandatory pit stop, I think for tyres, fuel optional, but fuel probably a good idea as well. The pit window opens 5 minutes after the race start and closes 5 minutes before the race end. And we get to look at some pretty liveries, very pretty liveries.
Cheese?
Is that chips?
Cheese or chips?
It is the Kovacs kebab car that I saw earlier, so I assume, yes, those are some chips. Peach mentioned that was some sort of reference to a real-life thing, so something good there. But Mag's there in P3, great-looking livery there. Got Maddox there. See, it looks like we've got a theme here with the Kovacs cars. We've got a food theme going on. He's got Heinz, Rosella on there. Another good-looking livery there.
Is that wedges?
Yeah, it looks something like that, or corn chips, something. It's food.
I spent too long in the kebab shop.
We got an anime car, they're always popular. Going down the grid here. It's always nice seeing all the new liveries at the start of a season. Nice little camo job on that Porsche there. Very nice looking car. We've got our Asics
here comes
Porsche.
Shoe.
Here comes your Asics car there, Grant.
Yeah, that's my new favourite.
That's a clean livery. That's really nice.
Yeah.
What is it? Is that Ferrari? Oh, fishing. And this Ferrari. Oh, Red Rebel Racing. That looked really good.
Yeah, one of the new
it's
teams who's
his
joined us
teammate.
recently.
Well, that's good. That's a alternate coloured livery, I believe. By the looks of it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it looks like
Tatif's
it.
car. Always loved
Yep.
Tatif's car.
What about Tafik's good designs there. The Tic Tac car, it's another classic design we've seen a few times, but always a welcome one.
Oh, this is a good variation on the colours.
Yeah, a few of those Red Rebel Racing cars going around. Well, what do we got here? Interesting stuff. We got a Red Bull livery. You got to have one. We got a Bentley. It doesn't matter what livery it's got. There's a Bentley in the field. That's always good to see. With our lovely purple Aston right at the back there, ending us off here. So good looking field.
Okay, so I just saw there the circuit's going to start off greasy. It's going to be a bit of slip and slide in lap one.
Okay, 30 minutes. That's not going to be great. It's the driving stuff.
Yeah, well, thankfully they've
Everyone
got
gets a turn.
I think they've got that warning so they can kind of make the decision about how they're going to do their pit strategies. Knowing there is going to be rain in half an hour before the race even starts is very good, because then at least you're not sort of having to make that decision halfway through the race. If it starts to rain, are you going to rain for the last 20 minutes or something like that, like we saw in Split Green? It is a little easier on the drivers because they can sort of make their decisions. But let's go through our field. We've got Peach in P1, followed by his brother John in P2. Mags doing a great debut in the Ferrari in P3. Maddox P4. Zawali P5. Tafik in P6. Drea P7. Hill P8. Palmer P9. And Sanjoto in P10. That's our top 10. So a good mix of cars there, I'm actually noticing. We've got McLaren, we've got a Honda, we've got Ferrari, Lamborghini, BMW, and a Porsche, all in that top 10. So not a bad spread of field. The BOP at Silverstone seems reasonably balanced this time around, so it's good to see a few different names up there in faces.
Surprised the Honda's up there. But they're a bit outdated and whatnot.
Honda's go to. It's a really good car. John knows what it is.
The lovely mix of cars there. No one's over. No particular brand is overbalanced. A lot of McLarens though, but it is a new drop, so they're generally pretty popular in the pickup. I noticed that the temperature's a little warm. 18 degrees ambient, 22 track, no wind, and slightly cloudy conditions.
Yeah, the greasy track's going to make it very interesting on the opening laps. You're really going to have to be careful to bring those tyres up to temperature nicely. You don't want too much sliding. You don't want to cause any graining in those opening stints, but it's very difficult to do when the track condition is like that. I noticed on the counter, though, we don't actually have rain predicted in 30 minutes, so that must have been an error when we saw it before. So maybe no rain, but still potentially some rain, so that will mix up the strategies if it does actually rain a little bit later down the line, but ACC's predictions can be a bit off as we round the final corner now and everybody gets ready to start. We've had not too many clean starts so far in the splits, so hopefully Split Blood's going to just ignore their name and give us some good racing here as we get ready to go green. He's leading us through here.
Green light, give it all you got.
We go green flags, everybody gets ready to go. The Ferrari's typically getting, a little bit of a punt there. That was Tafik. Yeah, unfortunately the Ferrari very slow off the start still, so it does make it a very hard car to, get off when you're in traffic, but we are still going reasonably cleanly through Maggots and Beckett's now. Everybody going. Peach is launched ahead. Looks like a little bit of drama at the back. It's pretty typical through this section of the track on the first lap, but everybody mostly okay. We've got someone dying of their own accord in the background there, but it looks like we've managed to do it without taking too many out. I see another car off there, but it looks like a pretty safe Maggots and Beckett's for Split Blood so far as we get some racing going on all around the place. Everybody vying for position, trying to get comfortable with these greasy track conditions, but mostly staying okay, and everyone keeping a reasonably cool head. It's Dellingham there at the back, one of the unfortunate victims of the start, but no safety car so far as I curse the entire field. We were a little bit of a snap there from Maddox, just getting up to date with things. John staying in P2, and Peach has just shot straight away. He's already got 1.3 seconds on his brother.
Rain in 10 minutes. Rain in 10 minutes.
As we see, yeah, we do have rain in 10 minutes, so the weather's just all sorts of unpredictable here. Very typical British weather. As we see, a bit of a dive there from Tafik going right up the inside there. He's going to make a stick. He's going to have the outside here, which can be a favourable line, but he hasn't quite got the exit speed on the Ferrari beside him, so everybody's going to be looking at that rain coming up. We've got a little battle just behind this one with the McLaren, but very good first lap so far. I see a couple of yellows at the rear, but still the entire pack staying very close together. So we've had a good start to this race, and yeah, it's been a good one. Well done to Split Blood. They seem to have managed to do an entire lap nice and safely.
Good call, Mike. Well done. It was very busy first lap. Mostly clean. I saw 3 yellows leading to Maggots Beckett's. The track's kind of fast now, so a little bit of extra grip for the drivers. Fortunately, after lap 1, the cars was Torfik a little bit. No, it was a hill. So, yes, good start. What were your thoughts, Grant?
Well, I'm surprised that it wasn't carnage like most splits, but yeah, pretty safe. Surprised there's only one car went off. It was by his own accord, right?
Yeah,
I'm not sure if he had a little bit of a
looks
tap.
like he had a little bit of a snap there or something like that. Didn't look like a tap, but yeah, hard to say. We didn't get a good view of it, but it does look like, based on the fact that we're too many cars going yellow, that there was anything more than just getting a little bit upset there going through Maggots and Beckett's, which can happen on the first lap. So unfortunately, I'm not quite sure who that was. I know it was McLaren had that, but I'm sure they'll be able to make the recovery as the whole field doesn't seem to have split up too much, so there is still positions on the board for everybody. So we're going around looking at Palmer now, chasing down some Giotto, chasing down P10, coming through off the Formula 1 pit straight into this section here. Close racing, maybe a little bit cautious here from everybody as they get the cars up to right temperature. It takes about 2 laps really to get the tyres spun up. So everybody keeping it mostly clean and not doing too many big sends of dives or too many changes of positions. Meanwhile, Peach has shot right ahead. He's almost 3 seconds ahead on the second lap, so really putting out a commanding lead. And we'll be hoping to extend that as far as they possibly can. Going to be in a bit of trouble though. What happens with this, rain that's coming in less than 10 minutes now is going to be a big deciding factor, I think, because it's only a short amount of rain. And how wet is the track going to get in those 10 minutes? Do you change for wets? Do you stick it out on slicks? You can manage on slicks for a short amount of time, but it's a tough call. I'm not sure exactly what I would do. I'd probably go to wets just for the safety of it, but some of these drivers who are pretty capable and skilled in the wet might make those different decisions.
Well, to add fuel to that fire, in 10 minutes now, it's a heavy rain. It's going to make things even more interesting. Having a multiple stop strategy might be the way to get around this one. It's going to be raining for we found that was it 10 minutes on the first lap, so we've got at least 5 minutes of rain in the race, starting in about 5 minutes time.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you'll probably see a fair few people go to the wets, especially given that it has upgraded to a heavy rain setting. So that may see a few people dive in for those wet weather tyres, because it really is a big difference being on those tyres compared to the dryers when the track is significantly damp. And considering we're only out of fast track state, it's probably going to go back to greasy and then almost to full wet pretty quickly. But yeah, the rain always offering a few different strategy options and a bit of interest here, so I'm keen to see what happens when that rain finally does fall. Let's go to a replay now.
Yeah, we got a replay.
Here's the dive. Very easy to misjudge your braking point there.
That was at the loop. Yes, at the village and loop. Yeah, very tricky place to get through.
Yes, that was those yellow flags we saw right at the end of that first lap there. So unfortunate, but could definitely have been worse. Not enough for a safety car.
From what I've seen so far, when the safety cars are called, is when it's generally more mid-pack. I didn't see which part of the grid that was. I think it was near the end. Is that right?
Yeah, it was right towards the back of the pack, so that's why there probably wouldn't have been a safety car called there, because it wasn't an incident that affected a great deal of the field. The field, who is still pretty close. There's a couple of packs here. We're in the middle of a little mid-pack battle here in P13. There's a bit of a gap from Kumar there, it looks like, back to the next car. Sorry, to Chalmers there, who's sort of leading another pack of cars around. But everyone's staying reasonably tight and close together, other than our leader, obviously, who is still shooting away from absolutely everybody at the moment.
So the race time we have now for Hill, his last lap was 59.8, so probably a little bit down on a potential maximum pace, but it's still a very good pace there. That's about what I could. That's about my best race pace there. So that's what a leader can do on heavier fuel and on a fast track. As it is very close against Sahara. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6 cars and 7. It was quite a bit of a train there behind Harley there. Just trying to see the qualifying and see who the movers and shakers were in the first opening laps.
We've got Hill moving and shaking all over the back as well here. Pushing that McLaren. He's having a look up the inside. I don't know if he'll take it. It's a risky move this early in the race. Gave him a look. Oh, I think he psyched Zuali out a bit there. I don't think it was contact. Zuali just pushed himself a little bit too. He just got psychologically battled out of that position by the looks of it. And it's that touch wide, and Hill manages to take that position. So not a bad little move there. He sort of sent it, but he didn't send it too dangerously. So good move there to sort of put Zuali a little bit off his rhythm.
Zuali's got a good exit. Might just get a bit of a toe. They go down the inside. No. Hill covers the inside line. That was right down the outside.
Looking down the outside, showing the speed of the BMW there, that straight line speed. Even the McLaren not quite able to match it. And like you said, he got a good exit. So, whoa, little bit of a missed brake marker there from Tafik, I think. Almost making contact as well. Maybe a little touch of contact, but it's cost Tafik. It looks like a position at the back there. It looks like Dry's going to take that from him, and maybe Marco will be threatening him in a second as well.
15-second time penalty for car 512 on that one.
In that incident, I think we saw it earlier. So what would your strategy be here, Grant? What would you do? Would you sort of keep the slicks on, survive the rain, or would you go for wets?
I would probably try and stick it on the slicks. It's only for a short amount of time, so I'd just try and keep it on the track. I don't reckon it'll cost me about 30 seconds in the rain. Very tricky though.
Yeah, well, it's always that tough decision because the track doesn't dry. As we see, you get a yellow flag at the rear of the field there. Not sure if someone maybe had an unassisted spin at the back, but yeah, there's those dry tyres. It's always tricky as we see the rain starting to fall now. The wipers are on, so people are going to be starting to run into the pits. Maybe this will be perfect timing for some drivers. As we see here, it's a couple of people diving into the pits, probably to change tyres. So we are seeing some people more towards the mid and the rear of the pack who obviously had the opportunity as the rain came as they were closing on that pit lane. It might be a busy pit lane for a lap here for some of those midfield and end of the pack fielders.
They're actually very active on the steering wheel. The rain just started to affect the tyres quite a bit. Putting pressure on the wheel. You go down the inside. Hold back a little bit.
They're pretty bold to make a move in these kind of conditions, but that's not going to stop some of them doing it, I don't think, as we see everybody mostly going through. So it looks like about 3 cars jumped into the pits there and took that early opportunity to change to wets. So I think the big one to watch here will be JP Sneakers to see what he does and whether he thinks wet tyres are the go or whether he goes with dries, because that probably will determine some of the other runners in the top 10 as to what they do. As we see, cars starting to get a little bit squirrely there. Dryer losing the rear end of that McLaren, unfortunately, in the wet conditions, and has dropped 2 positions there. Track is already downgraded.
For me, I'm a big wuss. Yeah, track's gone to greasy, as you're saying. I'm a big wuss. For me, I would have pitted for wets, taken on the full fuel load to the end of the race, because I reckon it will be quite damp for quite some time. And looking at it now, it's going to be raining for about 20 minutes, and then swap for dries once the time comes right at the end. Because it's not so much for me, not so much about the lap time, it's about staying on the circuit. I'd lose 15 seconds every if I spin off.
Yeah, I think it's about where you are in the field and where you are in the pack as well. If you're reasonably close up the front there and everybody's kind of just taking conservative lines and driving a little bit slower, you can probably risk using those slicks a bit more, just slowing your pace down a bit. As we see, Peach didn't come in, so it looks like he's sticking with the slick tyres, and the majority of the field are. I haven't seen many people going in the pits, so I think most drivers are just going to tough this little short stint of rain out and try and hold on as long as they can and try and manage on the what is now just gone to a damp track.
Yeah, these conditions will really separate the good drivers from the great drivers, I reckon. Very tricky.
As I just see in 10 minutes time, it's heavy plus. And yes, very much so, Grant. This is where the skill really comes through. Dry tyres on a damp circuit. The cutover is pretty close at this stage, from what I understand. But the better drivers can make it work with the dries.
Yeah, it could be a matter of just who goes in first. The field is still very tightly packed, so you're going to lose a lot of track position pitting this early. So as long as you're confident in the conditions at the moment, it's still not a bad shout to stick with those dry tyres, I think. pretty sure that's what we're going to see most people do.
Page has increased the gap to about 5.5 seconds now. He's
The
dominating.
Honda is notoriously not fantastic in wet conditions, especially on dry tyres, so I imagine John is struggling a little bit more than perhaps Page is at the front of the field there in the McLaren. But McLaren's not exactly great in the wet on slicks either.
Someone just did a exit stage left there.
I saw that. Someone did just go off there, so yeah, catching some people out. So we see Palmer now going into the pits. He's decided, nah, that's enough. We've seen another couple of drivers ahead of him as well, actually, also diving into the pits. That's Sanjato, Baketold, and Palmer all in the pits at the moment, going for those wets. McCauley's jumped in for wets. So a couple of drivers saying, nah, I'm not going to continue to drive in these conditions. I haven't got the confidence, or they just think the strategy call is going to work better for them.
Here's the one. Do you fill up, or do you do the alternate strategy? And here's one. Do we take your wet tyres to the end? Possibly. I've seen that strat work pretty closely as John Sonicus goes very sideways through that corner.
Silverstone's a pretty harsh circuit on tyres, especially from experience, I can say from last night. Driving wet tyres on a dry track, not particularly fun here. They're going to swell up pretty quickly, and I don't know that you could get away with just a single pit stop if you went to wets now. I think the track will dry out too quickly, and those wets will really start to fall off a cliff, and you'll be having to drive on them for at least maybe 15 minutes or something, which is going to cost you a lot of time, more than I think you'd lose by just doing another tyre change or by sticking it out on wets on dries, as we're seeing most drivers do at the moment. But Maddox is challenging John here. It seems he's got a bit more confidence with that Lamborghini in these conditions. John just trying to hold on there. Lots of correction in that steering. Just trying to hold on to it here. You can see he's having a lot of sliding, and that rear end is not happy. John not particularly happy, I don't think, in the cockpit of that Honda at the moment.
Still choosing not to pit, I'm surprised. Like, looking at this onboard, it'd be very sketchy not to pit. Oh, what a save.
Patch.
Maddox is going to be having similar problems behind him.
Got a first-hand view of what a sideways Honda looks like going through Maggots and Beckets, as we see JP stretch the lead out to 8 seconds.
Drivers are so active on the steering. It's incredible how quickly people can react and move their arms that quickly.
Okay, just noticed the weather widget. It's stopped raining in 10 minutes' time. As we see John go a bit wide through Stowe and not defending very heavily into Vale.
Mags just pit for wets, I reckon. That might have cost him a bit of time, considering it's about to finish raining. Unless he's doing a bit of a different strategy. Oh, as John nearly
Hit the wall there.
might have kept it out.
Hopefully he has kept it out of the wall there. Either way, he's lost at least one position out of that, and hopefully he hasn't picked up any damage. But it's definitely, if you change to wet tyres, you're probably kicking yourself a little bit. With that rain easing that early, you're definitely going to have to pit again for dry tyres. And I don't know if you're going to get the pace advantage out of the wets here, but it is significantly easier to get time on the wet tyres on a track condition like this, because the track is fully wet. It's not just damp anymore. So those drivers on the wet tyres will be having a much easier time in these next few laps, but is that going to be enough of an advantage? It's an interesting one. I'm really keen to see how this plays out.
Yeah. Just looking at the time here for Jerome Marco, he's 2 minutes 16 for his last lap time. So I think the cutover is around 2 minutes 10. So he's probably dropping 6 seconds a lap, staying out on the dry tyres on the wet circuit. As another penalty comes through for a lap 1 collision.
Yeah, I believe about peak time here at Silverstone, but nobody quote me on this. I think 2:08s are a possibility on wet tyres here, maybe even a bit faster. But yeah, that is pretty slow lap time, but pretty typical, I think, with the tyres in these conditions. So interesting to see how the wet runners do, and whether they can offset the disadvantage of having to make what should be a second pit stop. As we see, yep, that's going wide. Completely into the wet there. That Ferrari in the background, I'm not quite sure who that was, that orange Ferrari. Yeah, suffered under the Silverstone gods.
That wasn't Mags, was it? Mags had an orangey looking car?
I believe that was Kuma, was it?
No.
No, it was Max.
No, not Mags.
Not
No?
Max.
No, it wasn't Mags.
No, Max is on wet. So
So,
yeah, I think
it was
Kuma.
unfortunate, Kuma. I wonder if he did what I did, is on a wet circuit, use your dry braking marker. I've done that many times. Always will.
Yeah, it's very easy just to clip the curb, especially on braking. That just upsets the car so much and causes you to spin, or just really upsets the braking performance and makes you go deep. Maybe you tried to overcorrect it and that caused a spin as well.
Can confirm.
Yeah, it was-
Stone curbs in the wet.
I'm surprised there's not more cars going off at turn 1 and at Club as well, because the high speed corners there.
Yeah, you've really got to shape up a lot more speed than you normally would.
So here's Torfig. His last lap was a 2:14 on dry tyres. Doing very well there. 3-second gap to Hill. So the top 10 we have JP, Sonicus, Maddox, then John Sonicus, Hill, Torfig, Dreyer, Marco, Sahali, Chalmers, King, holding up our top 10s.
Yeah, John continuing to struggle here. He's only about 2 seconds ahead of Hill, and it looks like Hill is starting to catch as John just struggles with the rear end of that Honda as Maddox starts to sort of drive away. He's got a 5-second gap on him now, but Peach is in the best position at the moment. He's got 9 seconds on Maddox, and he's really setting the pace of the field here and almost setting some of the strategy decisions, because most of the people in that top 10 decided to not pit for tyres, and I think it definitely was the best play here. It was a tough call for a moment there, but I think now that we've seen the rain looking to ease fairly soon, it's probably going to be a dry tyre choice for everybody, and you just stick it out as long as you can and then go to dries and only do one pit stop.
It'll be interesting to see how fast the track dries. If people on the wets will maybe just have a little bit more moisture on the track to keep their wet tyres alive, just for maybe an overcut or just to not hit again for dries.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the temperature on the track isn't too high, so the track isn't going to dry out especially fast, but I'd still say you're probably looking at least 15 minutes of a completely dry track. That's not even a damp track, like going to Greasy or going to Fast or something like that, which is really rough on the wets here. They're going to start to really boil up and lose a lot of performance. So, yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens here.
That's good. This would be a good test case. As we see, behind Roger, there's Shade in the BMW, got a little bit deep.
Yeah, we're not seeing a lot of battling, a lot of, jostles for position, because everybody is just driving super cautiously, because almost everybody's on those dry tyres except a couple of runners there. Mags is the highest running wet tyre runner, I'd say, at this point, in P17 there, and he's gaining positions rather rapidly and probably will be making a few moves in these next few stages, and he's really got to push those tyres and push his lap times as fast as he can and get as many positions while he's got this fairly significant advantage he's going to have over the rest of the field at the moment, and see what he can get out with it.
Ooh, that's a harsh penalty coming through. 10-second stop go to Rob Penfold for an incident. I didn't catch the lap there. Was it 7 or 8?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that was about. We saw a replay of that, so maybe we could get a replay up if we do get the time. It'll be interesting to see what caused that, because as you said, the stop-go penalty is pretty significant. You see Kumar now being overtaken there by Bechtold, who is on wet tyres, so you're kind of seeing the advantage that the wet tyre runners are going to have there is Bechtold now looks to be challenging the back of DM Rama.
Is Bechtold on wet tyres? He seems to be having a lot more grip than everybody else.
Yeah, that's it. He's not wets, yeah.
Oh,
Making
just touched the outside curb there. Was a big spin. That's
fortunate for Kumar. It's a very bad position to be stuck there. He
Just
tries to get
rejoin.
around. Watch that
Oh.
rejoin.
that was close.
Thankfully, no violence.
Do you
Has the
think
rain-
you got much damage hitting the wall there?
Probably a good at least 10-15 seconds.
And your question about rain. Was still light rain on a wet circuit. I'm thinking the rain's going to stop at 32 minutes to go. That's my estimate. That's someone else has gone off. Was that Dion Rams going off at the Maggotts Beckett's complex? Can be up position.
It's probably the hardest section of the track, I'd say, to navigate in the wet when you're still on dry tyres, for sure. We are seeing all our wet runners really start to make those positions. Max is already up to P14 and only half a tenth off Doe, so it is working out for him at the moment, but I don't know that he's not going to have to make a pit a bit later on as well, so whether it's been the right call, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it all depends on if he's taken much fuel or not.
Exactly, yeah. Johnson being overtaken here. Yeah, it's almost like they're standing still. The extra braking performance those wet tyres have over the dry tyres there. We're seeing that on display there. Mags continuing to make up. So now all the way up to P12, that'll put him.
Like you touched on earlier, Mike, about Maggotts and Beckett's being very tricky in the wet. It'll be very hard to adapt because you're so used to smashing the curbs using all of the grip available, and then you have to completely change your driving style to just avoid them. And it'll be you have to be concentrating a lot to not stuff up, because a lot of people near the end of the race might even start just losing having a bit of line fatigue and losing focus for 1 second, and then they'll go off.
As we're seeing now, rain is going to increase in 30 minutes, so just before the end of the race. So maybe the track won't dry out quite as quickly. Maybe those wet runners are looking pretty strong. I think Mags is probably going to be the big one to watch here, because we know Mags has had the pace, the qualified P3, and we'll see if the early change to wets with this sort of eclectic weather we've been having here at Silverstone this evening. Yeah, wow, it'll be interesting to see how these wets go now that we know that the rain isn't exactly going to stop for an extremely long period of time. As we go to a replay here, that'll be that incident from before. So I'm going to say we've got a rejoin there. Okay. So we see another penalty for Paul Bowen, 15-second penalty for an unsafe rejoin on lap 11. Yeah, always got to watch those rejoins. It's going to be a lot tougher in these wet conditions to rejoin safely, because the cars just have almost no grip at this stage. But yeah, so this final 2 laps maybe are going to be wet. Again, heavy rain again. So what tyres do you change to? What would you be thinking right now, Grant, if you're in the cockpit and you were still on dry tyres, let's say?
I would be judging how much fuel I had, seeing the amount of grip, if I could overcut maybe some other cars, or try to do an undercut maybe in these conditions. yeah, I'd definitely be focusing on getting on the slicks as quick as I could, maybe.
Yeah, we can see the track condition has already gone down to damp as the rain has officially stopped now. So the times for the wet tyres are going to start to decrease. You're not going to get that massive advantage that you had out of them. Yeah, I think if you're on the dry tyres, you're probably just going to have to try and tough it out. But track position being the advantage. But I don't know, someone like Mags is in a pretty good position here. He doesn't have to pit again. The wet tyres do last for a very long time, but how long is this track can stay in a damp condition, and how long can he stretch those out without losing pace and losing times to the other drivers? Because if the other drivers don't change to wets and they do change to dries, which is what they probably should be doing, they're still going to be a bit slow. The track isn't quite optimum yet, and they're not going to be getting the most pace out of those dry tyres. So the differential won't be huge, but it's a tough call at this point. But I think someone like Page is definitely going to be looking at dries for the stop, and I'm assuming going to be stopping in the next lap or two.
Yeah, it's increased that gap to 14, nearly 15 seconds. That's just a bit insane. Talking about dominance.
Yeah, putting on a very dominant display this evening, Page. Unfortunately, it hasn't been as good a race for John, back now in P5, so he's continued to lose positions, he's continued to struggle, and like I said, definitely the Honda does have some problems in the wet, especially running on the dry tyres. That rear end is just very loose and very skatey, and yeah, a bit of a slippery track does not assist that at all.
Bill's made a good few places. He was it probably 10th, near 10th at the start of the rain. Now he's up into P3.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely down to the lower end of the 10 was Hill. So you see Mags now pushing.
Hill qualified P8.
P8, there we go. Yeah, so almost at the back of the grid. Yeah, all the way up to P3 at the moment. So obviously just showing that consistency, which I think is the important thing when you're in these sort of conditions, when you don't have that advantage that we're seeing Mags have now with the tyres, being able to push further. So you can still see there's a big speed advantage there for Mags, even though the track isn't fully wet anymore. The wet tyres are still performing a lot better than the drivers on the slick tyres, which are probably a little bit worn out at this stage, although you don't get quite as much tyre wear on the dry tyres when it is wet, because you're not really pushing them that much. You can get a bit more graining.
I thought graining was completely gone since the patch in 1.9. Whereas it was super easy to grain your tyres, and now you'd have to try to grain them.
Yeah, it was definitely.
I'm looking at Mags and the gap that he's got. He came into pits in P4, and judging by the gap that's there now with the other cars pitting, he'll come back out in P3, P4 again when the rest of the drivers pit.
Yeah, his placement will all depend on how much fuel he's taken. If he took any fuel in the pit stop for his wet tyres, then he could just go for the rest of the race.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, does he have the run to make the rest of the race? Did he take on enough fuel to finish without having to pit again? I would assume he did, if you're going to make that call like he did. We can see the sun's pretty much shining very nicely here. Track temperature's increased to 23 degrees. The ambient temperature is up to 18. As we see John starting to regain some performance and confidence, trying to defend this fifth position from Drea there, who has a 10-second penalty, but Snickers isn't going to care about that. He's still going to want to hold on to this position on track. Very much a race that's being decided by strategy, pit and weather. Not so much on-track action in terms of big, bold overtakes. Most of it has been just who's on the right tyres, who's managing them better, who's managed to, as we were looking at Hill before, stay out of trouble, not have too many spins and slides.
John having to work really hard to keep Raya behind. Will he just put on some pressure as now he's trying to stick behind, or he makes a little pressure movement as John goes a little bit wide, side by side into, I forgot this corner's name. John keeping the position there, staying ahead, but hasn't gotten a brilliant exit as he pits.
And Tafik, I also noticed just before him, has pitted as well. So they'll be going to dry tyres for sure, and let's see what they can do.
And the other part for Mags is how badly he's... Sorry, my stream's a bit choppy, so apologies if I'm over-talking you. With Mags is how much his wet tyres get destroyed as the track dries up.
The good thing about the wet tyres is they have a very good operating temp range, which hopefully works in his favour.
They're going to be looking pretty hot at the moment. Thankfully, they are a fairly long-lasting tyre, so they don't get heaps more wear, but the extra will be running higher pressures than you'd like, which is going to give you a little bit less grip or make it a little bit more inconsistent. And it's tricky to drive with the wets on the dry track, but Mags is already up to P5 now after a few people have pitted. You've got to imagine though that people like Tafik and John will gain time on him reasonably quickly with fresh tyres, low fuel, and he's on wet tyres, and it's tough to see if this is going to pay out for him. Still lots
Yeah, I think with the rain coming in at the back end of the race, I don't think it's going to be enough to save him.
Yeah, I'm not sure that rain's going to come in time for him to really get the best out of those tyres.
Got quite a few positions from that pit stop.
So the question we got now is, are the people that change to wet tyres, are they going to do an emergency stop to dries? Would there be enough time gained? Possibly not, I don't think. As we see Maddox lead Hill with 1 sec behind. Start to see a dry line there forming on the outside of Stowe. Circle is certainly drying off. Should be getting still marked as damp though. We've got drying the pit still, and we've still got Hill, Maddox, and Sonicus. The original leaders still have not pitting yet, so no one's actually changed position for the lead.
Yeah, Sonicus going very long there. But of all the drivers on track at the moment, he's definitely got that time in the bag.
I'm just trying to work through the permutations, the combinations of how this could all pan out.
I'm just leaving it up to chaos. I'm just waiting to see what happens, because it's tough to call where exactly everyone's going to be and what everyone's pace is going to be, I think, at this stage. But I'm pretty sure Peach does have this sort of in the bag, just by having such a good lead from the start and having good pace overall. Whatever tyre decision he makes is still going to be posting a significant advantage, I think, even to someone like Mags, who is still on those wet tyres. 25 seconds behind the Hill in P3.
What was the gap between Sonicus and Maddox? For that 20 seconds there? Oh, that's about a pit stop, isn't it? Is that a pit stop? We'll find out.
Our pit stop will be longer.
Yeah, being the F1, pit stop would be like, what, 40 seconds, you reckon?
Yeah, roughly around. I'd say once you counteract. I'm not sure, I can't remember the exact transit time here at Silverstone, but yeah, you're looking at a at least 30-second transit.
So you're talking like a 1 minute pit stop. If that's the case,
Oh
I'm
no, I don't think
thinking
it'll be that much.
Mags.
Not a
popping
minute.
chip.
Oh, a blue flag moment there, I think, for Maddox.
Fair chance Mags could potentially be in the lead of this race after the pit stops are done.
Yeah, I don't think that's
to the reason.
I don't think that's the question. I think it's more a question of whether he can hold on to that lead he's got. But he's 24 seconds off Hill, and Hill is probably just over 20 seconds off Peach in P1. So I don't know that Mags is going to be able to challenge Simrigs here, even with the pit stop. But we will wait and see as the track goes to greasy. And that rain has disappeared, so it's going to be sunshine all the way to the end now.
Oh no, there'll be 3 minutes of rain at the end of the race still. So in about 3 minutes to go, I think it is, we'll have a few splotches of rain. We'll find out with 3 minutes to go in 13 minutes. 10-second penalty for car number 45. Yeah, so with 13 minutes to go in the race, we should have 13 minutes. We'll find out with the 10-minute marker of how much, when the rain's coming. Ugh, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it might help out Mags if he's in a tight battle for position near the end, and it all comes down to, again, if he has fuel or not. If he has enough fuel to finish the race right now or not.
Yeah,
that's
I
a good
remember with my wet run. Oh, leader pits as well as P3. Yes. So with my running last night, I found that my wet weather fuel usage and my dry fuel usage was effectively the same. So as we watch JP exit the pits, and has Maddox gone through? No, Mag's gone through yet? Yeah.
Yep, Maddox has gone through, so Maddox is in effective P1 at the moment, but still has to make a pit stop. A couple of drivers still, Delio there, Rochford there, still need to make their pit stops. Mags has taken Peach in those pit stops, but I'm pretty confident that Peach is going to catch Mags pretty quickly. It's just whether Mags has enough pace in those pretty hot, wet tyres, I'd say, by this stage, to hold him off for the duration. He's got a 13-second gap and 17 minutes. That's still pretty sizable, so it'll be interesting to see who turns out here.
You can push those wet tyres pretty hard. I wonder what the time delta is going to be. It'd be good to see watch Mags and see what his lap times are like. Because we know the fast guys is going to be doing about 57s, 1 minute 57s potential. Oh, very slight moment there from JP. Catches it and keeps going. Yeah. Still driving a little bit on the wet part of the circuit as the Kunos dry line does not match what our drivers are doing.
Yeah, well, the track is still greasy, so the dry tyres are going to be faster, but not by as big a gap as they would be if it was optimal or fast. As we see Maddox now going into the pits.
Mags takes the lead with a 13-second gap, was it, to Sonicus? So how long can he fend Sonicus off?
Not very long by that slide I saw through turn one. Wow! Kept it going. Kept the pace up. So there's a bit of a tit-for-tat slide there from Mags and JP on consecutive laps. I didn't see the timer on Mags's lap there.
still going to be looking at a reasonably good finish if he can hold on to it though, Mags, because he does still have a pretty big gap to Maddox now, I'd say. And Maddox is going to have to push to really catch him. So I think podium's on the cards for Mags, regardless of the way the tyres go, but Peach is catching the gap now down to 11.5 seconds at the last sector mark. So Mags' pace definitely dropping off a little bit with those different tyres, but it's exciting.
It's just sliding that he's doing. It's hard to tell whether it's his Conti that was outside the village. It's just let the blue flag car back through again, which you have to repass. Always a tricky time to do that.
Yeah, his grip's considerably going to be compromised on those tyres at the moment. You can't get the most performance out of them. Track temp's up to 24, ambience at 18, track's going greasy, so this is really where that pace is going to start to fall away from him. But can he do it, you know? And he's got to defend, but 15 minutes is a long time to go.
Yeah, it's at least 8 laps, and his time is probably just 2 minutes and 6. Yeah, he'll be dropping it on the last lap. He dropped 3 seconds of the lead, or more. It's 4 seconds. Two more laps or less. There'll be contact for JP for the pass, and the battle.
Yeah, Max is going to defend like a lion soon.
And just looking back to the gap to the hill, that's 20 seconds extra. So P2 on the cards, potentially for Max.
Yeah, Page did a 2:01 on that last lap, and Max has been doing around 2:06s, 2:07s, 2:05s, that sort of pace at the moment. So there's definitely a big gap there, as we see a bit of a blue flag getting out of the way there for Page, as he continues his charge to try and nab P1 off Mags here. I'm pretty sure he's got it. I think it'll be interesting to see if Hill can catch, though. He's 20 seconds behind, so that'll be about 27 seconds behind Mags now. So I think a P2's pretty safe bet for Mags at this current stage based on the lap times that both these drivers are doing, but there's still 13 minutes to go. There's still blue flags to get through. Lots of things can happen.
And with the rain widget's just updated for the 10-minute marker, so with 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go, because I was watching it, the rain will kick in again for the last couple of laps of the race. And also, with the track now moving the fast, JP will be picking up the pace with more grip.
Yeah, and those wet tyres are going to take a lap or so to cool back down and get towards their sort of optimum operating window there at the end. So Mags has to sort of just hold out here and try and hold off Pete for as long as he possibly can, or just at least try and stay as close to him as he possibly can, so he can see if he can, on maybe the last 1 or 2 laps, take advantage of that slight tyre advantage he's going to have with the rain coming.
Yeah, just want to have a shout out to Merritt in the Ferrari at number 269, leading and driver in P20. Does have a penalty, but good job from the end driver.
Yeah, and obviously to Hill as well there in P3, leading the Pro-Am class pretty well here to be not too far behind, but definitely not a big threat for him. So yeah, both of our title contenders here, as we see, you can see Pete is right up catching. With the amount of laps to go, I don't think that rain's going to come soon enough for Mags. I'm not sure he's going to be able to hold on to it. Mags is still not dropping off the pace too much to 2:05 last lap, and he's a couple of tenths up now.
Whereas Peach does the purple lap for the race. I'm not sure if that was just now or earlier on.
That was earlier on. A really good drive from Mags here, doing the best he can with those tyres, I think, in these conditions. Just really holding onto it, trying to take everything out of the car as Peach, just makes it look like he's standing still and passes pretty easily there. Mag's not putting up a great amount of defense there, but you can understand that his tires just are not up to racing in that kind of condition, unfortunately. But the real thing here will be how low can you keep that delta. I don't know if he can keep it low enough. Pete's just got too much pace, and that range just isn't going to be there soon enough for him.
Makes his credit, the gap too from himself to Hill is only dropping about not as fast as what he was losing to JP there.
Yeah, I think P2's definitely on the cards from here, and it's probably what he's looking at this stage to just try and consolidate on that. He's already dropped 2 seconds to Peach after only being passed on that lap, so he's definitely not matching the pace. It's just sort of Peach has just kind of walked past him. Well put, JC, in the chat there. Just kind of walked straight past him as he continues to hold on to this. But I think P2 is definitely approachable here. Hill's got a lot of time to catch up in these last few minutes, and Mags is going to have a slight advantage in the closing laps. But will it be enough?
Well, this looks like a good race for Hill. His qualifying was in P8, as we was discussing earlier, and he's now looking pretty solid for a podium here. So Maddox is behind him, who was qualified in P4.
Yeah, it's one of those races that sort of tests a few other racing skills and disciplines, doesn't it? Rather than just outright pace, it's all about consistency in a race like this. Strategy calls, when to pit, what tyres to pit to, as we see Mags getting passed by a blue flag there, showing the wet tyre performance just continuing to fall off. But yeah, we've had a few movers and shakers. A big one there is Zikri. Zikri qualified a fair bit down the order in the Bentley, but has managed to crawl his way up to P9. He's doing quite well there in the Pro-M class, currently P4, and only a second away from Dreyer in P8, which would put him on the Pro-M podium. So a good drive from Zikri today.
It's a very solid drive.
And in the Bentley too. Showing the British racing fans some love. I mean the McLaren,
do you think
counts.
Do you think the rain helped the boat?
It shouldn't actually. The Bentley's pretty rubbish in the wet.
Oh, really? I thought it was a really good car.
No, TC has a lot of issues in the wet. Although I haven't tried it again since 1.9, so maybe that's improved, but I know in 1.8 it was appalling in the wet.
It's not been a great day for JP in the Honda. Lost about 3 places from the start. No, 4. Yeah, that rain really caught him out in the Honda, I reckon. Very tricky in the wet.
Yeah, he could also be carrying some damage from his little off that might be upsetting the car, is that right?
I don't know if he hit the wall or not. Wasn't very close.
Yeah, it definitely seemed to suffer the most of the front runners from having that extended stint on the dry tyres in the wet conditions. The car just didn't seem to behave optimally for him there, and he's dropped a few positions, but still hanging on to P6, which is a credit to John's skill as a driver to be able to drive a pretty difficult to drive car in the wet, and still managed to keep it in that top 10, and he's got a good gap there to Dreyer.
I got a sad question to ask. Was it JP or John had a bit of a rough season last season?
John did.
Yeah, so he's still running, which is good. Run to the end, keep the points going.
It is looking like Hill is going to catch Mags before the end of it. There's 6 minutes to go, but only a 5-second gap, and the pace difference is pretty huge. Graham did a 158.9 on his last lap compared to Mags, who's still in that sort of 205, 206 territory and slowing down a lot with those tyres. So under threat here, that P2 position. I'm not sure how long he's going to be able to hold on to it.
Yeah, that rain could not come fast enough for Mags. He'd be begging for it. Just watching the timer slowly clock down till For about 3 minutes, do you reckon the rain will come in?
3 minutes 40 to go.
3 minutes 40.
Yeah, so 1 minute and 20 seconds. According to my bunion on my right foot.
Well, we'll have to see how accurate that bunion is, but I don't think you're going to be far off the mark. And it's going to be reasonably heavy rain too, so see if there's any last lap chaos. But it is probably only going to be a lap or so that we're going to see a significant amount of rain. It is a long lap here at Silverstone, just under 2 minutes when you're going quick.
Wonder if is that Hill right behind Mags?
Yep, that's Hill overtaking Mags now. Yep, just
Didn't put up much of a fight.
Ooh, Max keeps it going though.
Reckon-
Bit of a slide.
Probably from the aero wash, I reckon. Wasn't expecting it.
Oh,
Yeah.
not the 130-degree rear tyres.
Oh yeah, all that.
yeah, those tires are screaming at the moment.
Between those
They're
now,
very, very overpressurized. But it does look like Mags did at least fuel for the whole run, so not a bad strategy decision. It could have gone his way a little bit better had the rain come just a bit sooner. He may have been able to hold on to P2 there, but Hill's starting to walk away, almost 3 seconds already on Mags. I don't know if he's going to be able to make the gap up in these last few laps, but we will see.
Oh,
Maddox is
looks like-
approaching.
Yeah, and then Taufik and John is actually very close. It looks like Max might even slide down to P6 or P7. Purely based on the time deltas.
And Mag just letting him go. Not worth the fight.
It just doesn't have the grip at this point. Those tires are just not going to be responding. And nothing you can really do when you're in that situation. Just hold on, keep the car as straight as you possibly can. Try and avoid going off the track and having a spin or something. Just try and hold on to whatever position you possibly can. But yeah, it was a good, not a terrible strategy decision. I don't think it could have paid off, but I just don't know that it has. But we'll see as the rain begins to fall. Will Mags' tyres come back into that optimal pressure range just quickly enough? And will the track degrade quickly enough for him to maybe just get past Maddox and get right back on that podium? As we see Taufik starting to challenge now, but Taufik's got to be careful now that the track is starting to get a little bit wet because he's on dry tyres and Mags is on wets.
I still think the circuit would be good for one more lap on. Ooh, have a bit of a look. The circuit's still optimum. Oh, it's just changed down to fast now, just now. Yeah,
it
it's still
not
favouring the dry tyres.
Yeah, Mags did not want to let that one go. But Taufik just snuck it around the outside.
It's going to be a challenging. Oh wow, it's gone straight to greasy now. We might have a chance to fight back if there's anything left in those tyres.
It's the blue flag getting out of the way there because he's going to start to play in Mags' hands, but those wet tyres won't be in that right window just yet. He's still got at least another half lap before he's going to get the advantage over Taufik, and then he's got to still try and get to Maddox to get back to sort of his qualifying position, but still holding in there well, and it'll be interesting to see if he can catch Taufik in the last few sections and whether Sonicus is going to be able to do anything now that the rain is falling and Honda's going to start doing some Honda things to him. Is he going to push it, or is he just going to hang back here?
Always push. Always strive for a position. Two slippy, slidey cars in front of John there, with the back marker and Max. It's a bit hairy. Where do we have the leader now? Leader now's about the old pit, new pits. We've got 1 minute 30 to go, so they'll cross the line. So it'll be end of this lap and one more to go. Would that be enough for Mags to keep himself going?
Track's just gone greasy. He might be able to get this position back off John in the last lap if the track continues to degrade as quickly as it has been, but yeah, it doesn't look like P4 is on the cards anymore for him. Unfortunately, the rain just a couple of minutes too late for his strategy to work out, but still, it hasn't been the worst decision for him.
It's definitely one I would have gone for. So rain's gone to heavy now, so all bets are on for a very exciting finish for Max. I think it was getting to the point where any strategy would have been a good strategy. It's just how your luck would have played out.
All right, man. The leader is on the final lap. Let's give it a final
The leader
push.
crossing the line now on the last lap. So we have Sonicus waiting for the gap to hill. It's quite sizable, so it's a safe one there. And we have Maddox 4 seconds behind Hill, then Tawfiq 5 seconds, then John 5 more seconds, and Max has fallen a further 2 seconds behind John there. Dryer, Zahili, and Sanjoto. Sorry if I mispronounced that. My screen's a bit tight. And Zahili there finishing at the top, racing for the top 10 as the counter is finished.
Yeah, so one more lap here. Page looking to take this win pretty easily, has commanded it since the start, and even with the different conditions, he's played it well and made the right call, staying on the dry tyres for a very long period of time, almost most of the race staying on the dry tyres. Hill doing the same, Maddox doing the same. And most of the drivers who elected to sort of stay on the dries have done well with them. But a couple of movers and shakers who did change to the wets early, who have sort of probably gained a couple of positions out of it, and now just sort of fighting for their lives to maintain whatever track position they gained out of doing an early pit stop and going for those tyres. But definitely Peach, the number one driver on circuit tonight.
Yes, definitely well driven. He hasn't finished yet. Still a few more corners can go. Anything can happen, as we saw from Split Green last night. 2 corners to go. Anything can happen. As the circuit's just moved to damp, some of the dry tyre runners we having a bit sliding off the circuit a little bit. Purple Ferrari there.
A little bit of dancing and wiggling there, but it's not going to bother him because he is going to win the race. He's managed to hold onto it as he slides over the line. Very good race, well managed there from JP Sneakers as he crosses the line to take the win. Took it from the start, qualified P1 and finishes P1. Very good race from him in pretty tricky conditions, but another big mover and shaker here. Hill, some excellent job. Also managed the race really well. And he's going to cross the line in P2. So P1 and a P2 for McLaren. British racing fans will be happy. Maddox just behind him there too. In the Lamborghini, getting P3. Also a well-managed race. And Tawfiq has done well to get P4. With Sanikas, struggled a bit there in the conditions, but does manage to get a pretty good result out of it. I don't think he'll be too unhappy with that. And Mags took a bold choice. Finished as P6, dropped a few positions from the start, but still not going to be too unhappy with that result, and it could have gone another way. Dryer here in P7, and a good finish from them. Suwali coming at P8 in the BMW, still maintaining that nice run of different cars we have in the top 10 as he crossed the line. P8, good managed drive from him. Zikri doing really well in the Bentley. Not a great car in the wet still, I believe, and has managed to hold on to it and has jumped right up the order, started towards the back of the grid, and has just done a very good job here to come across the line in P9. So yeah, really good drive there from Zikri. And our last finisher in P10 is Mikael Johnson in the McLaren. Comes across the line here. So wow, that was definitely that was a good race. It was really hard to see the call there. Oh, we saw there was a last minute battle there that we missed. That was Sanjoto and Marco very close together there. It looks like Sanjoto had some damage on that McLaren and was obviously just fighting for his life there. Almost lost P11, but does manage to hold on to it.
Did look a bit bent there, didn't he? As we got P17 and P18 coming through shortly. They are all very close together as well. And we are done. I think all our drivers did an excellent job tonight. I think all of them pretty much with my driver of the day. I cannot pick a single driver who should not be driver of the day. Sure, Peach for the win. Yeah, that's probably the only reason why he would be my driver of the day. But because the challenging conditions as we look at the end plates. So we had Sonicus, Hill, Maddox, Torfik, John Sonicus, Mags, Dreyer, Zoeli, Zikri, and Johnson in top 10 there. Pro-Am class, we have Hill, Torfik, and Dreyer on the podium. And AMS, we have Merritt, Tui, and Mercer on podium. And in silver class, Richardson. Great race.
Split, despite the name, very clean race in my opinion. Not too many penalties or incidents, and no pit lane speeding penalties I saw.
Yeah,
Well,
quite
for me,
a.
it was the. Sorry, for me it was the opening lap. Everyone getting through Mankins and Beckett's on a greasy circuit. Well done.
Yeah, but Split Blood not quite living up to their name this evening. Managing to keep a very clean race. Everyone keeping mostly cool heads there. A couple of minor incidents and a few offs and a couple of penalties, but overall a very good race, very interesting race. It's sort of a race that was decided by strategy, who's got the bold call, who is going to blink first, that kind of decision making, rather than lots of on-track overtaking action, but still really interesting to watch and really interesting to look at, who is going to make those calls, because it was really up in the air for a lot of that race there. So, yeah, good one to watch. Great opening race here from Split Blood.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Grant. It was a good call for you guys. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, don't forget to check out the rest of the week's racing. We've got 2 more splits. We've got our European and our North American splits, which will be coming up shortly in their time zones. And then we obviously have the first running of the GT3 Cup at Silverstone this Friday evening. We've got 2 knockout splits there, so that's going to be really interesting. Sort of the top class drivers battling for a really interesting prize, sponsored by Simrigs and supported by Motorsports Australia. So don't forget to tune into that. It's been a great call, great race. Thank you very much, Grant. Thank you very much, Damiano. And we'll see you all next time.